then you'll be able to like follow along. It is like a 30-second delay though, so don't be surprised if it's a little slow.
So like this conversation right now will be at the very beginning of the live though, because it's like the way the live works is.
See, like I'll actually say,
Yep.
"Hi, Chris," in the chat, and you'll be able to see it, me talking to you through the chat instead of just talking to you live right here. We were just talking to you. So yeah, we have all kinds of fun with that stuff.
So anyway, for a second there, Chris, it looked like you had glasses on for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it might have been the lighting.
Yeah. Do you wear glasses or do you?
I used to. Yeah, I had terrible eyesight as a kid. I had those thick like Coke bottle glasses that made you look a lot like a serial killer. And,
nice.
It was. I eventually started wearing contacts my senior year, and then got LASIK. I think after like 5 or 6 years in the NFL. So, did
the NFL pay for that? Then?
No, so it was cool. We had like a sponsorship deal with the local LASIK company. And they're like, just give us a testimonial and you can get it for free. I'm like, that works for me.
That is the Forrest Bauer. $20 is $20.
$20 is $20. Yeah.
And, you know, the people who absolutely should be paying for something aren't the ones paying. It's weird.
Isn't that something? I always find it funny that athletes and movie stars get so much free stuff when they're the ones who can afford to pay for it the most.
Right. Exactly.
Well, how many more cars do you think Thielen Motors sells now? Now that Adam Thielen is the wide receiver for them.
That I'm not sure. Maybe 1 or 2.
Well, I remember when Joe Mauer, like his dad or what was his uncle or his grandpa came up with that thing where he made it himself, where like to train Joe to hit, it was instead of having somebody pitch the ball, it was like this thing where you tapped it with your foot. Hi there, hey, turn that off.
That's what I just did.
And then like the baseball would roll down this kind of like corkscrew type thing, and then eventually it would pop out and drop, and so then you would drop and you'd be able to like hit it, like basically so like you could work on your timing of like hitting the ball square, and Joe Mauer, if you guys know, he's like the all-star catcher.
Yeah, no, he was on the Twins for a long time.
Yeah, Twins. Well, yeah, his whole career. And but no, so like, and one of like Joe Mauer in college, he he had like this weird stat where he only like his senior year in college he swung and missed at a ball like 6 times. Like he made contact. Like he struck out almost never. It was just like one of these weird things where he would always be able to hit the ball. And so then like when the Twins got the 2nd pick of the draft, of course he's from Minnesota. When him and his wife had kids, they had twins. You know, so it was just kind of like
I get it.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it was like the whole thing, and then like that was. And he won like 4 batting titles, and he was the MVP that one year, and that was like when
he was a big deal in Minnesota when I was there, because I think that was like right near the end of his career. I want to say he played.
He played like 12 years, I think, in the major leagues.
Yeah,
and the thing is that when he came up for like salary, like there was this big thing where it was like everybody was like, oh my gosh, it was the last year of his career, and they didn't re-sign him, and everybody was like, oh my god, if we don't sign, and it was like one of those things where he knew he held all the cards, and it was just like, if you don't sign me, people are going to like tear apart the stadium just because he was like the homegrown hero, because the year before was the year it was his perfect year. He batted like 356. He had 25 home runs. He was the MVP of the league, I mean, so and so it was one of those things where it's like, and so then the Twins were like, okay, here's 6 years, $120 million, and it was just like, and everybody was like, oh, thank God we signed him. But then of course his career he started getting injured.
Yeah, he had like a hip injury, I think, or something like that.
Well, yeah, and concussions. He started getting, because like he got a concussion. I forget what it was from, but then like it got so bad that playing catcher, like even if he took like a foul tip off his mask, it would like the concussion syndrome would come back. Because
Yep.
so it was just like one of those things. And then they finally moved him to first base, which they probably should have done with him.
Yeah, a couple
like
years earlier.
yeah, like way before, and but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was yeah, it was just one of the can we hear the reason why? Yeah, it's like it was you could do it by yourself. Like the whole thing was like you could set this up in your backyard, and you could teach yourself to hit the baseball or the softball by yourself. You didn't need anybody else, and it wasn't a pitching machine, which costs thousands of dollars to have this thing like throw baseballs at you at 85 miles an hour or whatever. So you could. Do you ever go to like those batting cages and you would like you'd go there and like you do the slow pitch softball ones, and there was always the one, and it was like you get in there and they say you got to wear a helmet, but it's slow pitch softball. You're like, screw you, I can just sit in here and hit these balls or whatever. But then there's the one where it's the baseball, and you're watching and so you see somebody in there and there's like a they're just like, and I remember I did it one time. I was like, I was decent in little league. Let me see if I can hit this ball. And it was just like, and they were like, and the pitches were like 82 miles an hour or something like that. And I might as well have, had a toothpick trying to stop a rhino. I was like, after the first one too, you're like, geez, that's really fast.
Yeah, that's I played baseball growing up, so I am very well versed with batting cages and those things whipping at you. Like I felt okay with the 80-mile-an-hour ones, but the 90-mile-an-hour ones, like those were freaking scary because like I've seen like those balls come out and they weren't seated quite right.
Oh,
and
really?
like, cause like 95% of the time it's going to be a strike. Like that's the whole purpose of the machines, right? Like, the ball comes in the same way every time, the arm whips through, it sends it in, right where it's supposed to be. But every so often you'll get one where like either the machine judders or like rattles or something happens and no one knows where the ball's going. It's like, and if it's coming 90 miles an hour, like that's like, oh damn.
Yeah, I mean, and the physics of hitting, I remember reading about like this thing where they basically like I remember watching this video about it. It was really cool. They said like the time it takes for a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to leave a pitcher's hand and reach home plate is like whatever it's 0.6 whatever seconds or whatever.
I think it's like 0.3 or 0.4.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And the amount of time it takes your eyes to see something, tell your brain what it is, and then for your brain to do the electronic synapse to like move your muscles in the direction and to hit it is actually slower than that amount of time. And so they're like, how is it possible people are hitting baseballs? And it's all your brain is able to figure out where the ball is going from the moment the ball leaves the person's hand. That's how they're able, and then like they swing and like it's all your brain's already telling your muscles, you need to swing down here. And so you're swinging before. Yeah, it's crazy how that works.
Well, the other thing too is like the really good batters. So they'll actually be looking at the pitcher's hand as even before he's releasing the ball to see if they can see like what grip is on the ball. Because if you see a 2-seam fastball, versus where the seams are like that, versus a 4-seam fastball where they're going across like that, versus like if you see them like that, that's like a knuckle curve, like that is like a slider. It basically and it's just tiny little like differences in where the pitcher's finger's at, but it's enough to tip off what the pitch is going to be. And so that way they know how to actually swing through and hit it. Like I was never that good at recognizing the pitches. I always relied on my reflexes, but it's nuts. Like it's
so I my little league career, and then after I got out of little league, I played a couple like up in North Dakota. It's called American Legion. I played in that a year or two, and then I wasn't good enough, and I just didn't really have the interest to do it. I would rather play D&D on the weekends instead of go shag flies. So but I do remember in the Little League Championship, the year we won, my older brother was our coach, and I remember I batted left-handed, and I remember I got hit so often just because all the pitchers were used to throwing. That was the first year that the kids actually threw. And I remember being so worried the night before. I was like, I'm gonna get hit by a ball. The idea of it was like just so scary to me. And but I remember I was like, but they were the pitchers are so used to like they didn't want to hit the kids, so they would throw away from right-handed batters.
Right, yeah,
but
so
all of a sudden,
right into your rib cage.
yeah. So it was just I was just getting drilled over and over again, or I got walked. Like they just didn't know how to bat. And I do remember it was championship game. We were down by a run, and the bases were loaded, and I came up, and I was a pretty good hitter, and I was super excited. I was just like, okay, this is my chance to shine. You know, this is we're gonna win this game. I'm gonna do this. This is like that glory moment. And then I walk up, and my brother, he goes, hey, he's like time blue, and I was like, oh geez, it's not pinch hitting for me or anything like that. I mean, I was like one of his best hitters, and I walk over to him, and he was just like, all right, this guy hasn't thrown a strike to you all day. And I was like, okay. And he's like, if you swing, that bat stays on your shoulder. If you swing, you're walking home. And I was like, oh, I was like, but this is my glory moment. And then, and like the second pitch, he drilled me right in the side, and I was just like, and so I took first base. And then Chad Wisegram, who batted, I batted third, and Chad Wisegram batted fourth. And Chad Wisegram just came up and crushed one over the fence, and I won the full game. So I mean, I tied the game. Which was
right, you had the limp off tying.
But yeah, that was. I still remember to this day. If that bat leaves your shoulder, you're walking home.
Yeah, no, baseball was a sport that I wish I could have played past high school. I mean, because it was really obvious to me that like football was the way forward. So that's why I devoted all my efforts towards it. But yeah, like my senior year in high school, I mainly played pitcher, and like I was throwing, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever made it to the pros, but I was throwing like mid to high 80s, and I had a curveball that like it would start at your face and then drop down to your knees. Like I had more than one guy just like dive out of the batter's box because he thought for sure he was getting hit in the head. And I was like,
well, that's not nice.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I loved playing baseball. I hated watching baseball. It's so boring.
Watching baseball, I mean, see, I remember, and this is like we're all over the place here right now, but see, I remember going to games and watching baseball and really liking it. Now you go to games,
but on TV, it's very boring.
Yeah, but I mean, but now people going to games, everybody's on their phone, just staring at their phone, looking up every once in a while when the crowd starts to cheer or something. Then they look.
Yeah, well, because nothing happens.
Well, it is one of those things too, where it's like okay, you know, like okay, so MLB The Show is like I always play. I like MLB The Show. It's a fun little baseball game on my PlayStation.
I've got that too.
Yeah, and I enjoy it, right? You know, you make your character, you take them through a year, you see if you can like get an MVP, or even like you have to go through the minors now. Like it's called Road to the Show, so you can kind of. So but anyway, so it's like you're sitting there, you're playing those things, and if you don't put it on fast play, you just let it go like slow. It's like yeah, this is going to take you 3 hours to get through this game because it shows like they throw a pitch, they throw it back, the
pitcher walks around on the mound.
Pitcher takes his glove off.
Yep.
Yeah, he's rubbing the ball.
Out of the box.
Picks up the rosin bag.
Yeah, when video game baseball takes as long as real baseball, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, you can play it on fast play, right? But if you want to take the time and see, like, and then like you can set it up so like you don't see every pitch. Like you walk up to the if your guy is batting, like you come up and it's 1 and 2 already, right? It's like they've gone through the first 3 pitches. Now this is like the deciding pitch. Those types of things. But if you want to, and sometimes I play it like that. I just like because it's. If I always liked the show, like I was playing a game, I don't know, my guy that I got drafted by the Nationals or something. He eventually made it to the majors, and he was in there in Wrigley, and my guy hit a home run, and as he's running around the bases, you could hear, like as it went into the bleacher bum seats, which if you ever get a chance to watch a baseball game at Wrigley in the bleacher bum seats, it's really awesome. I've done that, but you could hear the crowd chanting, "Throw it back." Throw it back because if the opposing guy hits a home run, you're supposed to throw the ball back onto the field. But I was like, that's cool. And then sure enough, like the guy, I'm running around, the next guy comes up to bat, and then they had to call time because the guy threw the ball out in the field, and then you actually see like the ball boy runs out and grabs it and runs back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's like a nice little touch that they add that in there. Yeah. They don't have to put that stuff in. So no, and but yeah, so Anybody play any games lately? I mean, now they're talking about games. You say
No,
I still have my hell of a grievance that I'm going to give, and this is that is extremely minor when it comes to the problems that the world is facing. That I have a grievance, and Kabuki Kid's going to laugh because I'm going to lose my mind when I start talking about it. But I will shut up for right now.
no. This last 2 weeks, I really haven't played anything. I just got busy at work, so I just haven't played any on video games. Yes, but board games, no. I haven't played. I haven't played a board game in 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's tough too because you can't be like, hey people, do you want to come over and play a board game?
Yeah, I have a small group of people that we get together once in a blue moon, but
right.
not recently. It's been just I've been too busy. We just finished up, or we're finishing up the comic book Kickstarter today. We got announced Massive Darkness 2 today. We're prepping for that as our next one. It's just because distribution's been shut down for so long, we've been leaning into the Kickstarters more heavily. So we've had 3 of them now in the last like 5 months. So that's a lot of work on my end for the retail side. So yep, it's just been busy, but I'm looking forward to playing some games maybe next week. But I've been playing a lot of video games. I can talk about that all night. My Steam library is finally like uncovering dust from games that I bought last year and the year before that never got to fire up or even install for that matter. So
the problem there is that a lot of those things aren't worth playing, right?
No, I'm pretty picky with what I buy on Steam. I don't just buy something because it's a good deal. I have to have an interest in it. But when like if a real good sale and like 5 or 6 games are really good and I buy them, I generally only get to 1 or 2 of them, and then the other 3 won't even get installed. And then, by the time you roll back around to hitting your Steam library again, you've already bought 2 or 3 more games. And it's almost like the board game con season where you get 7 or 8 games at one convention, you play 2 or 3, but then you're off to another convention, you come back with 7 or 8 more games, and then you play 2 or 3. Well, before you know it, you've got 15 games sitting in shrink that you haven't played from 2019's con season, let alone 2020 or whatever. So it's kind of the same thing with Steam, except now I've got the time to sit and play all of these games. So I'm trying to go to my back catalog and at least put an hour into every game on my Steam library. And then the ones that I'm just like, then I just delete it and don't worry about it. And the ones that are good, like, all right, you stay installed and you're going to be in my rotation once I get through them all. And I'm almost there, actually. I got like maybe 8 games left in my Steam library I haven't played yet. So hopefully have those knocked out.
I'm nowhere near that. Nowhere close. But I did play. I finally actually beat without cheating. Mm-hmm. I beat a game of Cultist Simulator, which if you've never played, Cultist Simulator is a really, really weird game. It's tough to explain. It's like it is functionally it is a board game just because it is like cards and kind of, it's not really deck building. It's kind of deck building in a way, but basically it's tough to explain, but basically the whole idea is that it's very slightly Cthulhu-esque in a way, because like you are this person and then like you stumble upon some sort of like weird like possibility of the world beyond the world kind of thing, and you start to go down that path, and then eventually like you become enlightened to something that's going on in the world, and then you kind of just start to like, it's very weird how it works because you have to go and you have to collect these different artifacts. It's almost impossible to explain, and it's almost impossible to understand what you're doing. Basically the game is played like it has almost no rules. It doesn't teach you how to play. There's no like tutorial or anything like that. You're basically supposed to lose and then figure out why you lost and then start up again. And so there's like things you can do. There's like the game comes with it. Like you can unlock like you can just say, you know what, I just want to cheat, and the game will just say, okay, fine. Here you just click this button, and the designer just basically put the cheat codes that you, because it's basically the whole game is just a table that you're looking at, and it's just covered in cards, and you slowly but surely you add cards as you get different artifacts or get different followers that join you, or what have you, and then so it's just like you're playing a big card game and you're placing these things down. But then you can just say, I want to cheat because I want to actually know what I'm doing here, and then you can click a button and it just puts everything on the side and just says, what do you want to do? You want to like you've got the flag, do you want to like just take the flag and get rid of it so you don't have to worry about it right now? Fine, just boom, flags gone, you know, and so you can do that. But I finally like sat down, like, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can actually beat this without cheating, and I did. I finally did. I achieved one of the enlightenment stages, which and there's different levels of winning. But if you ever want to play a game that's like really something unlike probably anything else you've ever played, you know, check out Cultist Simulator. It's almost always on sale, just because it's kind of older and definitely weird. Good music too, as far as that goes. My bank let me know that they told me that, oh, we're finally going to get those refunds to you, that you know, even they said, oh, you're going to have them today, and I said I didn't get them today. Oh, well, by Saturday, they said. So I guess the slowly the walls
today,
turn.
tomorrow, or sometime next week, you'll get your
Yeah, so
refund back.
sometime next week we'll get that taken care of for you. We'll make sure we we'll get that fraud taken care of.
No
But
worries.
so that is not my.
They had no
grievance.
problem taking your mortgage on time, though, didn't they?
No, they took my mortgage. They were more than happy to take that on the first of the month. You know, just right on the dot, just boom, there, give us our money.
Not like they could say, you know, we'll get your mortgage, but we'll just get it sometime next week. No big deal.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't need it right now.
We got plenty of money.
Horrible banks. Oh, look, Connor McGooey, the guy from Inside Up Games. I invited him to join us tonight because he's got a game on Kickstarter right now, and I want him to be able to pitch. Hello, Connor.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
He doesn't. He's from Canada though, so he's got that crazy football, Chris, that has the 3 downs and the. That's a good question, Chris.
You can actually score points as a punter.
Yeah. Did you ever consider going to the CFL and playing?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I was already pretty like, you know, I'd made enough money when I.
Oh, look at the bragger. It's like, I was already like Scrooge McDucking it up.
I mean, to be fair, it's also American money. So when the time he brought it up here, it'd be worth like 3 times as much.
I could have just bought like half of Ontario.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, Connor is the guy who runs Inside Up Games. He's a good friend. He feels the need to either tackle me or bench press me whenever he sees me, which is impressive since I am not a light human being. How you doing? Sleeping Giant Brewing Company, is that any good? The beer?
Yes, it is.
Is it Canadian?
It is actually local. It's the Sleeping Giant is the landmark that's out my window right now across Lake Superior, and it is one of 2 local breweries, but they're available all across Canada. And they got a whole bunch of great beers and amazing artwork with.
Whenever I go fishing in Canada, I always get a case of kokanee.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Well, if you ever come north, like actually for you, it's not even that far north, but come up here, you can get Crystal, which nobody really knows about unless you're from Thunder Bay and you go to really bad parties. I think they only make it for Thunder Bay.
The only other thing I know is like the all-in potato chips that are in Canada, where it's just like
all dressed.
All dressed. You want a potato chip? Yeah. Do you want it with sour cream, barbecue, bacon, onion? Basically everything possibly that you can put on the flavor.
You basically take all the flavoring that fell off of the conveyor belt and sweep it into another pan and then dump it into another bag.
That seems reasonable.
Well, I mean, I want to ask, how is that a Canadian thing and not an American thing? Because that sounds like an American thing.
Well, we like to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, you know what's weird? Like, you know, the Dum Dum suckers. There's those ones that say the mystery flavor. You know what the mystery flavor Dum Dums are? Kabuki Kid probably knows this, but no. So the mystery flavor is, so basically they just have the sugar wax whatever thing that they have that they pour into the drum, and then that squirts it onto the stick, and then they, you know, whatever. However, I'm sure there's how it's made. Yeah, but they have to change the flavor. It's like, okay, we're gonna make grape. Okay, now we're gonna make watermelon. Okay, now, but they don't stop the machine and like clean the drum out and do anything. They just dump the next flavor in, and the flavor that's mixed, that's the mystery flavor. So like if the grape is made and they make watermelon, it's going to be the grape and watermelon, because until it's just watermelon, and then they're going to make just watermelon ones out. So that's how the mystery flavor of the Dum Dum. So they don't waste anything.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So there you go. So Connor, what's your game that you're pimping right now? A game that I played with you the other day. I forget who won.
Yeah. This is. Oh, we didn't count points. Something happened to that when I went to look at my board.
I don't know.
Were just flying
somehow
everywhere.
the board got jostled virtually. It was weird. No.
Yeah, it is City Builder Ancient World. It is a tile laying city building game for 1 to 4 players. It can be played competitively, cooperatively, or solo. You and I take the competitive mode for a spin. And then I was called outside to help my buddy chop down some trees. So
Canadian. It was such a Canadian thing. We think there's like some maple syrup in here. Hey, we're gonna tear it down.
Well, we're running out of materials to build our wall with, so we're just taking down all the trees too.
Oh, look at you! You're even going with the wall.
Make sure it's high. you really don't want what we have coming up north.
All right, I'm gonna share screen of your Kickstarter here, and then after you get done with your commercial, you can feel free to hang out and talk or whatever. And just so you know, Connor, that's Peter Shirey, a bigwig over at Cool Mean or Not. That is Barry, our resident medicinal user, and that's Chris Cluey, who plays D&D with me, also is a board game designer, and who is also an author. I didn't know your book. Why don't you pimp your book? You had a book that came out in March, man.
Because I'm terrible at self-promotion. I hate talking about the things.
So his book Otaku came out. I just ordered it off of Barnes and Noble, actually.
Oh, thank you. Let me know what you think, because
yeah, no, I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna give it to my daughter to read too. But anyway, so yeah, Otaku by Chris Cluey. But also because I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, I know Chris because he was the punter for the Minnesota Vikings for, what was it, 6 years?
Oh, nice.
8 years.
8 years.
2005 to 2012.
So that's why we mentioned
Crazy.
like the CFL, because I was wondering if Chris, after he got cut for saying that same-sex marriage should be a thing, if he thought about playing in the CFL. So
Yeah, no,
we would have welcomed you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like, part of me was like, yeah, I could give it a shot, but then the other part of me was like, I've been in Minnesota for 8 years, and I'm kind of tired of the cold. Like,
yeah, it gets cold up here.
Yeah, so yeah, I was cool.
That's awesome. I was a soccer player, and if I ever played football for
nice.
fun with friends, I was the punter, just because I just love kicking that
Right.
ball.
Trying to see how far
it's
you
so
can
much
hit
fun.
it.
It's so much fun.
Yep.
It's way
what
better than
position?
my arm, that's for sure.
What position?
Sorry, I'm supposed to be pimping my game. I'm horrible at this.
No.
See,
He asked you a question. Answer the question. What position did you play in soccer? Because Chris plays soccer.
Yeah.
I was actually, so depending on the layout of the team, I sometimes midfield.
Okay.
But I usually play defense or goalie.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I was a goalie too.
Yeah, goalies, we're the weirdos.
Nope, we
and
are.
When I was 30, my buddies asked me to start playing hockey for the first time. So they said, "Do you want to play goalie?" I was like, "Of course I want to play goalie. It's so much easier. You basically wear a couch and stand in front of a net that is a tenth the size of a soccer net. You just go like this and get the pucks for a while. Like, it's easier than a soccer goalie."
I always wondered,
like, I gotta dive left or right and hope one of them's right.
Why is there a rule in the NHL that prevents them from just going and getting some giant obese gentleman and putting the pads on them and just jamming them into the net and just say, "Don't move"? Is there?
I don't see how there could be.
There's regulations on pad size, but I don't think there's.
But if you're just a giant human, like, I mean,
like if Andre the Giant played goalie.
Yeah, it just lays down in front of the net. I mean,
well, I think the problem is you couldn't get someone big enough that would also survive the 40 minutes or 60 minutes that you're out there. And then
if all you're doing is laying there, just give them a Big Mac and just
you're also taking pucks at like 100 some odd miles an hour.
That's what the pad's for. You're wearing armor, right? I mean,
some of the shots those guys get, there's this much net available, and they get it in there. So
yeah,
it has to be a very big boy.
I don't know.
You literally have to cover every part.
I think on some Samoan island somewhere, there's a guy that could be like the greatest
sumo. Those sumo guys are in shape and big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they're flexible. They could do it.
They don't
flexible.
Pain.
Sumo. That's the next NHL trend is hiring sumo wrestlers and training them to be goalies.
Well, I remember when Brock Lesnar tried to play a defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings, and that lasted all of like one training game or something like that.
Yeah, it did not end well. It's
were you around for that?
No, I think that was the year before I got there. He was there for training camp.
They gave him number 99, I think, and then he left the WWE to try to be an NFL player. And I mean, he was big and he was strong.
Right. Like strength and athleticism will take you so far, but if you don't have technique, like the guys in the NFL, they'll just ruin your day.
Yeah.
Anyways, your game. Tell us.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you talk. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
He sounds super interested. Unplugs his ear.
Oh my God.
That's Lance.
Yeah.
He
So
is the
anyways,
worst.
Not
he
about
is
him.
the worst. Luckily, he's cute. So yeah, it's City Builder. It's a game from a first-time designer that I met at Shucks, the Shut Up and Sit Down convention in Vancouver this past year. I did a speed dating event where I had 32, I think, different games put in front of me, and this is one of 2 that interested me. And it's great because it's nice and puzzly. My games usually involve a lot of player interaction, a lot of take that, a lot of kind of in your face, getting people at the table nice and rowdy. And this doesn't. This is very thinky, very puzzly, but also nice and simple. A turn is basically play a tile, draw a tile, that's it. And then depending on what you build within your city as you do it, you're getting settlers or you're getting monuments built in your city. So it's simple enough that I'm playing with my kids or my parents.
Oh my God,
and it's also
Lance.
hardcore enough.
I am so sorry, Connor. Lance is very rude talking over you while you're trying to explain your game.
Oh, shush.
We could hear everything you were saying, Lance.
No,
You
well.
weren't very quiet.
Fucking.
All right, so here it's $30. Just go back it. Okay, moving on.
Exactly.
And he wonders why we only have 12 people.
All right,
that watch
so
this thing.
can I give my review of my experience of playing it against a guy who's played it 1,000
Why
times?
not? We've been listening to you for like the last 5 minutes anyway.
Can the guy finish his pitch? Can he finish his
No
fucking
kidding.
pitch? It's been 4 times now. He started.
Poor Connor.
Let him
Poor
finish.
All right. Fine. Go ahead, Connor.
So you're either bringing in
Connor, I
settlers-
want you to go ahead and explain the game, okay?
The only reason
Just
I
go
stopped
ahead. Anytime you want to start, just
is as a Canadian, I'm always assuming everyone's down there is stronger, faster, better, or armed. So I just need to make sure I'm polite at all times.
Oh, no. Tell him to shut up.
Yeah, please tell him to shut up. We do all the time.
Canadian people that have rifles and stuff. Canadian people have a lot of weapons. Now, the difference is that you guys don't use them on each other as much. But I mean, you definitely have your fair share of firearms.
Well, to be fair, there's not as many of them as there are us. You know.
All right, I'm gonna be quiet. Hey, Scott, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Scott's here.
Yeah.
How's it going, handsome?
What's going on?
Okay, so it's a tile laying game. Lance, anything you want to add?
Well, geez, you're quite the salesman. How did you ever start a company? I think you're off here. This should be like, isn't this 44,705 Canadian equals $18,000 in US?
I don't want to make comments about the economy right now. It might be a touchy subject.
Not great.
I have a bag just off camera that I'm not going to draw from this evening. So yeah, so it is a tiling game that I'm happy to pitch because it's not mine. It makes it even easier to pitch someone else's stuff. That's really good. I mean, I'm sure everybody says this, but I've been playing it for months, like incessantly refining the cooperative mode because he actually pitched it to me that was just a competitive game. And as anyone who knows me, my games like to have either different game modes in it, being competitive, cooperative, solo, or large player counts. And this really had a tight game for a 1 to 4 player game. But when I talked to him about it, I asked him if he had potentially any ideas, and he said he had tried something cooperatively. So then he sent me that stuff, and I've spent the last 5 or 6 months with him developing the cooperative play to really change the way the game is played. Yeah, so what you see on the screen right now is one of the things people are loving, and that's the tug of war on the settler tracks. So in the competitive mode of the game, we're each building our own little city, and we're drawing from our side of that track. So for example, if Lance was to my left and Scotty was to Aldi was to my right, I would be drawing from one track that I shared with Lance and one track that I shared with Aldi. But at the same time, they're drawing from the opposite side. So there's that push and pull of trying to get the right guys at the right time, because as you see coming up, one has to stay behind on each track. So one guy's left behind as a divider on the track. So if you get too caught up either building, your city too big, going for a monument, or just not watching your neighbors, they're going to scoop in there and steal you, and it limits how far down the track you can go. because as you can see underneath all of the houses and the manors are victory points, and you'll add up that sum of points at the end of the game plus your monuments, which are end game score multipliers, and whoever has the highest score wins. In the cooperative version of the game, those tracks are actually flipped over, and it's a lineup in front of a city gate. And at the start of each turn, you'll be drawing the small commoners from the bag, placing them on the track. There's a GIF of that further down as well, you'll see. But you'll be drawing them out of the bag, placing them onto this new track that slowly fills up. We can see it there and in the layout as well. But as it fills up, you need to make sure as a cooperative game, you're keeping that track clear. Because if it ever fills up to the skull at the bottom of it, you're going to lose the game. If you don't build enough monuments, you're going to lose the game. If you don't follow the Emperor's edict, you're going to lose the game. So it really keeps that communication level really, really high as you're playing. There it is there. So yeah, you're going to be drawing out of the bag. You're going to be playing the small common at the top of the track. As you draw them out, they keep going and getting in line. And if ever you draw them and that you draw the same color 2 in a row, which happens here, they're taken out and they're replaced with one of the large of the same color. So again, that's going to make it harder to get that guy off the board. So just more things to manage, more things to watch for as you're playing the game. But it plays really fast, which is nice. So it's only going to take maybe that half hour, 40 minutes. And it's one of the nice games that ends and you always kind of just say, I wish I had one more turn because I've got it and my city's perfect. And I just need, if I could do this one thing. So you get the game going again, you play again, and it's been going over really well. We've been doing all of our stuff using Tabletopia because of the current situation. So I wasn't shipping around any prototypes, but I've had quite a bit of media online playing the different versions of the game to lots and lots of praise, which has been great.
Oh, crap, Connor, it looks like you were on mute the whole time. Can you just do that again real quick?
Yeah, no problem. So,
so here, let me describe, if I may, as a professional board game reviewer.
Oh boy, professional.
So Connor and I played it.
Air quote, professional.
This is professional. Holy
here comes revenge.
You sure you don't want to talk over Connor some more?
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I found was, so, and I don't think it really does it justice as far as the tiles are concerned. So I'm going to go to this thing here, and I'm just going to point out how these tiles work. So depending upon like these districts, the districts are separated by these little, like the gray lines that are around those spots. So like this little rectangle here is a district, whereas this like weird Tetris piece here is a district, if you will. And so when you create a district, the district is going to have white buildings that look like these, and they're going to have these colored buildings that look like these. For every white building you have, you're allowed to put a citizen in those when you complete a district. So but then depending upon the colors of the other buildings is going to determine the color of the thing that you're going to be allowed to be put into it. Now, these little houses, I played with like little tiny cylinders and big cylinders, but functionally the same. The houses are easier; they're just the commoners. But these big things are the nobles, and it's tougher to get the nobles out. There's a larger. You have to have more stuff in this, but also removing the nobles earns you more points. Also, these little cardboard things here, you have to create a district that fits this, and then each of these is going to tell you if this has like this color building and that color building, you're able to put this piece of cardboard, this is a monument, and you get to place that within your city. And some of these, like I had one that Connor was nice enough, he's like, hey, you scored 40 points. That's actually pretty impressive for your first game. Like, and I was like, oh, thanks. It's like, and of course he scored like 8,000, but regardless, it was one of those things where, like, so this will give you a special power. It might be something where, like I got to remove a noble from one of my sides. So I basically scored points without having to put the nobles on the board. There's ones that like for every, like populated district around that particular spot, you earn extra victory points at the end of the game. But the toughest thing I found, and by tough I mean good, just because it was difficult to figure out, was that these tiles, as you can see, like this tile right here, take for example, there's this spot right here that allows you to like have a more open area because it's like openly gapped over here. But both of these here, if you use them, it's going to close off. See, like this has closed off this spot. And so it's tough to figure out because you only have 3 tiles in your hand, and you're allowed to discard tiles out of if you don't like any of your tiles, you can discard them and then draw new ones. So like that's you draw at the end of your turn. And you have to play a tile. So you like if you have 3 card tiles you don't like, you're gonna play the one that's gonna damage you the least, and you're gonna probably get rid of the other 2 just so you can get 3 fresh new ones. So maybe you can get like the color that you're looking for. But it's difficult to figure out how to basically do what you want, and so it's one of those like things where you're getting angry about it because you just can't get that perfect tile that you want. And so like, since the game only lasts a certain amount of time until like all the tiles are gone, you might be in a situation where like, you know what, I've got to, even though I'm waiting for that perfect tile to show up, it might not show up. I need to cash in while I can and get the points, and that's where this tug of war thing comes in. So as Connor was saying, if one player just sits there and starts, eating these up, and they're just yanking these up, every time they're going to start taking them from my side as well, and that's going to limit the number of points I'm going to be possible to make. See, in this situation, there's this yellow house here. Like this player over here, they're only going to score 3 points over here because this person kept on gobbling up the houses on this side, preventing. Basically taking away those possible points because you can never take the one that's in the middle. And so it's definitely a timing thing, because also it's like once the tiles are gone, the game's done. So it's tough to figure out, do I cash in and just get what I can, or do I wait one more turn to see if I can get that perfect tile, if I can get that perfect situation? And I found it very, very fun. I've only played it once. But it was one of those things where it reminded me a little bit of Carpe Diem in a weird way, just because of like waiting for that perfect tile to like, and trying to get things to work out perfectly and place. It was very brain burnery. Is that a word? No, it isn't a word, but it made me, it was one of those things where I was, on my turn, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? How am I going to figure this out? And then it has those moments where you actually get like, oh, I did something clever, and I feel good about myself because I did something clever at that moment. And I like games that make me feel clever. So yes, I think the game is quite good, and it would be definitely something that I think my daughter could handle it. It is a little bit, like I said, it is a brain burner in a lot of ways. But I like games that make me think, and not just like.
And the nice thing is, to actually interrupt you,
no, that's
sorry, is that
okay.
it's brain burning.
I wouldn't interrupt you,
nice
but
way.
I mean, how it is.
It's brain burning in a nice way for like it. The brain burn changes depending on your skill level. So like my kids can play it because they're more focused on a simpler end game. Whereas what Lance and I are saying is that for me personally, I like to build massive districts. So I'm there trying to plan like, okay, if I can lay these next 3 tiles, and if I get this one, I can lay that out. And so you're trying to do this massive thing. Whereas meanwhile, my 7-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 10-year-old, whatever, they can be playing tiles with this. Oh, I'm going to take that away. Oh, I'm going to steal this one. Oh, I'm going to build that monument. So it's simple enough that they can still get in and play the game, and it's still going to affect me. So it changes kind of the strategy that I have to play as I'm playing the game. Even if it interests anybody, it's on Tabletopia. You can play it for free. The competitive, cooperative, or the solo games on there. And as it says on the Kickstarter pages, I will personally teach anyone to play if anyone ever wants to learn.
I'm going to send you a line of 100 people.
You don't know.
No, do it. Bring it on. I will teach every single one of them.
Next week.
Have you met me, Lance? Bring it.
So back it. And if you backed it already, back it again. Just have
If
another
you back
account.
it again and you're in the States, you'll get free shipping. And if you really want to scroll down a little bit, Lance, until you see the bottom, the last pledge. Oh, on the right-hand side, the
sorry. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, I will. Hold on.
Yep, perfect. Just a little bit more.
Okay.
I got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
A little bit more. A little bit more. If you go to the bottom, or the right before the bottom that haven't run out, there is a 4 right there.
You said the bottom, right?
No, sorry, go up one, you jerk. Oh my God, someone throw a punch in for me.
Lance, you're pissing the
It's
knee.
amazing we even have any people watching this crap.
Right.
Where am I going? What am I doing?
Right there. Oh, you were on it. Right there. There. Right. Oh no. Up.
Up a
You
little
don't want
bit.
the all God one.
Lance,
Yeah. You want the one that's still there, Lance. So
get
people
your family in the game. There you go.
Right there.
I
Get
want-
family in the game. There you go. You get your whole family drawn in the game up to a family of 4 people drawn onto the monuments. 2 of them left.
Oh wow.
Well, I had 3 because I've done it
I
a
wasn't
couple
sure
times
that was
with
like a
Summit.
thing anymore. I guess it is still.
Yeah, some
For-
people like
it-
that.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, I mean,
for-
you Scott, you could back something and,
I'm in
and
enough
ruin a
goofy-
game by calling it Geekopolis.
Believe me, yes. I thought about it.
I
So
did it with Summit
that
when it first came.
actually is the probably my favorite game the TMG ever produced. It was before it was their the pick up and deliver game with the airships and steam. I forget what it's called now.
Kings of Air and Steam.
Kings of Air and Steam. And didn't you back it at the level where you can name something
Yes.
and you named the city Geekopolis?
Yes,
And
Geekopolis is always
everybody
the name of
got
my city.
so mad about it. They were just
Who? No one told me anything.
they're just like, oh, that's not thematic. It's so dumb.
Well, don't sell it if you can't take it. I mean,
No, they didn't care.
First
TMG
I've heard of
didn't
that, by
care.
the way.
They were like, fine, that's fine. But
Who
everybody
got
like,
mad? Oh,
there's
buyers?
threads.
Buyer? Oh gosh.
Well,
you know
this
what?
is a thought from 1,000
You
years
get a
ago.
Sharpie and overwrite it.
They can't
Make a
destroy
sticker.
the game. What are you crazy?
Connor, as you've been playing, have you noticed that are there only a couple optimal strategies? Like if you're really trying to play at a higher level, or are there is there enough opacity within the mechanics to where
there's enough, and so there's a bunch of simple things I didn't go into every time. I don't know how much time I had with you guys, but basically the way that track is laid out, those gray settlers are always in the middle of each track, and then everything else is randomly set up. So sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be bad, and the colors alone. So the better you get at the game, the more you're watching for stuff like that, because all of a sudden you're going to be, someone else swore, so I can swear, you're going to be like, shit, I've got like 3 freaking red in my front. I'm going to have to build reds quick to get through them. Whereas if you get lucky and you got like one color after another deep, I'm going to build one big district, shoo 5 away, and try to screw you over. But the nice thing about the current situation in Tabletopia, which I used to hate playing online board games, is that I'm able to test a lot with people that I couldn't always test with before. So we play a lot of games really fast, and we're able to switch up our strategies. And I've been changing them fairly frequently. And sometimes it works. I actually did a teach with Kim from Tabletop Rebellion, and I was going to show her this epic play where I built this massive district, and she was just slowly building her city away, and I was going to take all of the nobles from her track and leave the one in front of her and just decimate her for points. And then I waited too long.
Oh, you're going to reduce them by 1/10?
Who?
I mean, that's horrible.
Why doesn't someone else host this so you can mute him?
Well, no, I mean, when you decimate and you reduce something by 1/10,
you hit one of the buzzwords of the Alaboom buzzword.
I mean,
Can't use the word decimate.
Oh,
So,
well,
yeah,
I would
so
agree.
the
When you
answer
reduce
is-
something by 1/10, that's hideous.
is this another grievance, Lance?
He's
So-
dying on a
Everything's
hill.
grievance
The
with
decimate
Lance.
hill.
So
I'm
the
not
simple-
dying on a hill.
It's another Star Wars.
It
Leave it
means,
alone.
I'm just going to try
it
to
means
talk
to
through
reduce
at
by
this point.
1/10.
You can still hear me, right?
Yes.
There we go. So the simple answer that I tell all new players when I teach them is don't underestimate the monuments, because clever monument placement will win you the game. Whereas people get so excited about those settler tracks, it's so much fun to try to steal and screw people over, but you will not win. You cannot make enough points on those tracks alone, even if you play perfectly. You have to be very careful with the monuments, and the advanced players will start doing things like not only worrying about what their city's doing, but maybe building a monument so someone else's city can't build that monument. And maybe it makes you only 2 points, but it stops you from making 10 points. So that you're watching for more and more of stuff like that.
So do you notice is there also kind of the PvP element where players will place tiles to actually cut off another player's building direction?
Sorry, we didn't say that. You're all building your own city.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I'll have my city in front of me. I mean, in the cooperative
Because
mode,
I was
there's
wondering how that
one
was going to
edict.
work.
Yeah, no.
You're still
And
sharing
actually,
your
so
screen there, Lance.
in the way that there's like a crazy effect happening right now.
Lance is
Lance is still sharing the screen.
Well, I even lost my train of thought. I don't know what the heck I was saying anymore.
sharing boards and not sharing boards.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
sorry,
so-
I decimated your train of thought.
You reduced it to 1%. So you like decimated it, I guess. So yes, in the cooperative version of the game, there's an Emperor's Edict, which is a rule breaker, a game changer. And all the cities working together have their own objectives, but there's also one central objective that all the cities have to adhere to. And one of those central objectives is that all cities have to build off of one town square. So in that case, you're all building one massive city.
Okay.
But in this case, you're working together.
Right. That's cool.
Hey, Lance,
What?
can you switch your stream over to gallery view? You know what I'm talking about?
Hold on, he's
Isn't
too
it on?
busy.
I mean, are you happy with your bottle there, you big baby?
No, I just want you to have the
Wow.
best product possible. He was done.
So
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
so
I'm in a
that's-
feisty mood.
I know you are.
that
In terms of the physicality of the components, like have you gotten a chance to like test out the cardboard that you're going to be using for the tiles yet or not?
Yeah, so
like, do you have an idea?
yes. So luckily, I've worked with the same manufacturer. This is maybe the fourth game they've done for me now. So I know their component quality, which is awesome. And we've actually unlocked a fair number of stretch goals already. Today's day, what day is it today? Day 3, I guess, of the campaign. So we've unlocked just over half the stretch goals. So it's already going to be super nice, super well done. Where's my sample piece that I have? He actually showed me one. It was right here. This is what happens. Oh, it's right here, which is a new stuff that I hadn't seen before, even heard of. And it's not going to show well at night, but it's almost, so you know that there's black core cardstock. There's like a black core chipboard. It might just be clever upselling now, but it's like a really kind of sturdy, thick, snapback cardboard that works really, really well. That he showed me at Essen originally. So that's, I think, maybe the next. I should look over before I put my foot in my mouth. I think that's the next stretch goal level.
Okay, yeah. So it's not quite as thick as something like was like House on Haunted Hill or something like that.
Oh god! Oh no! Oh, it's that thick already. So it's already upgraded to 2.5 millimeter. Yeah, all of my stuff starts at a good and then ideally goes to great. Have you played Summit yet? Have you seen the Summit tiles?
No,
You could cut an intruder with that tile. It is so thick.
Nice. Yeah,
it was my. Actually, I have one
I've
here.
done it.
Yeah.
Aldi got it because he's a sweet.
I had to fight Connor off with a piece of Summit tile at the last time.
That is a fact. This is my first game that I ever made. This is how I met Lance. He reviewed it when it was like the crappy homemade prototype. That was like embarrassing.
crappy, all right.
Back in the day when you could actually have prototypes fund on Kickstarter. Those days are long gone. So that's a Summit tile.
Okay, nice. Oh yeah, that one. That's
those things are beasts.
Yeah, and then the beautiful that everybody loves.
Yeah, because I know usually my concern with the tile-based game is like, you know, will the tiles actually stay together, right? Like, because if you get them too thin, you know, it feels like they're too flimsy to actually do anything with.
And any sort of drawing or warping issues.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, those are cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. This one, and then the next one. Actually, it's insane. It's taken me the next game we have coming out is called Block and Key. It's a 3D block placement game, which I freaking adore. It's about placing. You literally use the box as the game board, the box bottom, and then the box top, and then there's actually legs that come out as stands, and it plays at eye level, and you're actually placing 3-dimensional clay blocks into a central play space. But I'm only worried about my 2D view of it. So we're all playing from our side of the board, 1 to 4 players. And as we're playing them, we're each trying to complete different request cards for different point values. And
that's clever.
It's so like, it was pitched to me at Origins last year, and by a designer that had already previously pitched to me, and I had turned games down. So I did not think he'd come back. I just assumed. And he came and see me maybe day 1 of Origins, sat down, set it up, explained the rules, passed me my pieces. And literally in 5 seconds, I'm like, yes, I will sign this game. Because right away, my brain like latched onto it. I'm like, I get it. Like you just end up having people doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's this, like that,
right?
That old Solo, like, you know, that you had to use the triangles and the parallelograms to like form the shapes.
Yes.
Like,
yes, exactly.
But it's in 3 dimensions.
And what ends up happening is, even when we were there, and then I brought it to Gen Con, I think, to show off and to get pricing for my manufacturers. And then I brought it to PAX as well. And the table presence, because you set this thing up and it stands on the table, and then you just have this group and it's all colorful and you're laying stuff. And if I was smart enough, I could show you the art, because I'm getting the art back from this amazing Spanish artist right now, and it's stellar. So I'm super excited to get it.
So it's like a little more structured than Pueblo. Have you played Pueblo?
I haven't played Pueblo. No.
Check out Pueblo. I mean, you basically are trying to get as much of your color showing through as possible. Like it's a block game, but it's just very, what do we call it? Abstract, kind of like no goals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's good.
Pueblo,
and got some really good
Pueblo, I think, is long out of print.
Got some great buzz at PAX, because it was supposed to be my next Kickstarter. It's supposed to be in the place of this one, but I've spent since Origins last year refining the costing of the damn blocks, because everything about it is expensive. The worst part was the stumbling block that none of the 7 manufacturers explained off the bat was in the original one. There was dividing lines on the sides as well, so it would basically be a white square on every side. So that meant there had to be 6 layers of printing on top of the base printing for colors. So it had to like print, flip, print every time. So the price just went crazy. And it took like 3 months alone just for someone to finally be like, if we could just print this way. And I'm like, yes, that's fine. We could just print that way as long as it works. So it's been forever. And then the next problem being that I really want to have proper blocks made up, because right now we're just using 3D printed blocks, but I want to have like the finished, because this clay, like the weight, the heft, the friction that it has is just so nice and tactile to play with, that I want to get some proper ones made by my final manufacturer, not just on the cheap. So that way when I send it around to show it off, it really shows off nice. But the mold cost for that alone is $5,000. So I'll wait a little bit on that one. But sorry, I went way off track, Lance, and I actually got
you're
to stop
okay.
talking, so now I feel like I've insulted you.
Are you kidding?
That's what
That's
we do.
nothing compared to some of the stuff we've had to deal with.
Yeah.
If you're under
Wait, you guys do this
65 minutes, you're
regularly?
So go back the game. Do it now.
Yeah, please back the game. That would be amazing.
Is this the first game you've not designed?
Actually, the first game that we published that I didn't design was The Quick and the Undead by Daryl Andrews and Adrian Adamescu, that I kickstarted in just after Halloween, after Essen. And that one is on the boats right now, actually. That will go around the world. And it actually turned out phenomenal. The metal
Quick and
coins
the
are
Undead. Man, did I miss
gorgeous. You may have. I think you backed almost every one of my campaigns.
I backed most of your stuff.
Yeah. He backed it before I even knew who he was, and then someone explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, really?" I got to wig out a little bit, and then I accidentally pushed him off a chair.
Looks like I missed this one.
That's okay. There was a bunch.
Light
I did
Pledge.
3 last year.
Yeah, you had a busy year.
It was a really busy year. Yeah, so
I'm
this
sort
is
of
the
on a
second
Kickstarter moratorium
not mine.
right now.
Hey,
That's crazy.
I'll do my commercial tomorrow. Chris is going to join me and a couple other great.
So guys, what else is going on for your life?
I like Connor.
Yes.
I like Connor.
We'll be
Connor,
doing
have you seen The Last
a
Jedi, Connor?
live stream.
It's so good.
You
It's
like
so
The
good.
Last Jedi. Could you tell us your
Yeah.
thoughts on The Last Jedi?
Sure. It was like a Jedi, but there was only one, and it was like the last of those ones. And those Jedis, I mean, with the super swords, is that what they're called?
Laser swords.
Super swords. I
Laser
like
swords.
that. That's
Those
hot.
laser swords.
That's hot.
And then when Spock shows up at the end, I'm like, I thought you were dead. It's just crazy.
You aren't wrong.
You're not wrong at all.
You're not far off, honestly.
Lance is so upset that he invited me here.
No, I'm fine.
So sorry, who else plays D&D with you here?
You're live stream tomorrow?
Chris.
Yeah, we're doing a live stream, Grey Fox Games, on the Facebook page.
But it's not for
where you can
D&D. What we're actually doing is we're going to be playing Champions of Midgard, me and Lance. Lance, did you want to butt in anytime?
No, I mean, it'll be us, and then I think a couple other people from Grey Fox doing. So you played
he seems
that.
to only butt Canadians talking. I don't know if it's like an anti-Canadian vibe going on here, but
He's allergic to maple syrup.
No, you played that at on whatever it was, the Geek Show or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was on Will Wheaton's show.
Tabletop?
Yeah.
Tabletop.
Back when that was still a thing.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard to believe that show's been off the air now for how long now? 3 years?
Yeah, there's some behind the scenes stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's a shame. That was so like that show was the show. Like it was the hottest
Yeah, it was
board
great.
game.
I had so much
why
fun.
did it go off
It
the
came
air?
and went just as fast. It was like ridiculous how it freight trained into such a huge deal and then disappeared so quickly.
Yeah. How long until Miglianello gets his D&D one syndicated on a channel somewhere?
I can't imagine it'll take long. I mean, he's got
Yeah, it
resources.
just seems like you're seeing more and more of him as well. I started my first D&D campaign ever last year, and it's great. I'm loving it. I had never played.
I would rather play D&D than any other board game.
Well, good thing because D&D is not a board game.
This is true.
I didn't know you were on an episode, Chris. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I was on 2 actually. Yeah. I did Tokaido was the first one I was on, and then that one was a lot of fun. And then Champions of Midgard was a blast because the other 3 players didn't realize that like you could essentially force negative victory points onto them if you took the troll every turn.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah, so I spent the first 7 turns of the game just taking the troll, and then once it dawned on them what had happened, they were so mad.
Wait,
It was so funny.
Are you a jerk when you play games?
It depends.
How have you not played Summit with him, Lance? What's going on here?
Oh, I don't own a copy of Summit because you never sent me one.
You're not able to buy one?
Well,
Some of us back Connor's games
I'm sure just
with real money.
Well,
Real
how am I going to
American
play
money.
Summit? He lives in California. It isn't like he's next door and we're like we're having a Zoom meeting. So, but yes, you can be a jerk and you can be a jerk in Summit. I like the fact that you could.
People going up the mountain.
Oh, you're gonna die on the mountain?
We had an epic
you.
game in the first ever Board Game Geek Hot Games room. Remember that year?
Oh, that was so when
That was the first year.
We all like you guys work together and then John's like, I'm gonna make it to the bottom of the hill and use the wingsuit. And the wingsuit you can get you to the bottom of the hill immediately, but you have to roll the event die. And if you get the mountain, you're immediately removed from play.
Cratered.
So you just cratered, and everyone else had to carry their shit. And I think that one person made it down the mountain. I think.
Oh man.
Maybe.
Well,
it was an amazing.
I feel like
game.
it was. Oh gosh, was it? Who else was in that game? Me, you.
See,
John.
and that's why those games with dice and randomness and an awesomeness like that, you're still remembering that moment. Whereas
I remember that.
Probably
moment.
played tons of Euros, and you're like, nobody's ever saying, remember?
Oh, that piece of wheat, man! You remember that piece of wheat?
Oh,
from
remember when
19
I got those 2 green blocks instead of 1?
Remember when I got
that was quite the moment, don't you agree?
I'm not disagreeing with you there, Lance.
So so I will say I don't know if Tokaido is considered a Euro game.
It is.
Okay, so Tokaido is very cheerful and bright on the surface, but you can absolutely play that game to ruin someone's day.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's because you're supposed to be essentially the point of the game is you're taking a trip across Japan. What is it, from Edo to Tokyo or Kyoto? It's Kyoto to Tokyo, but they use
Kyoto, Tokyo. Yeah.
the old names for them. And it's just a trip. And so you're trying to have the best experience possible. You want to paint pictures, you want to go soak in the hot tubs, you want to eat nice food. But the problem is you got to pay for this stuff, and you can only, stop at a place. And if someone is at a place and there's not space for someone else to stop there, then they can't stop at that place. So for example, if you notice someone is running low on money and there's only one bank spot between you and the inn where you have to pay for your food, you might not need the money, but you can just go stop on the bank and then they will starve and lose 6 victory points. So they can't buy any food.
That's amazing.
Chris turned a very, very peaceful game about journeying and art drawing pictures
into a completely screw your neighbor.
Screw your neighbor.
Sure, it's not only Chris.
I play this with my kids, and it gets so cutthroat, so bloodthirsty, and it's such a peaceful looking game.
That's the best way to do it.
It belies the jerky nature.
I've actually Summit's made it onto about 7 of Jamie Stegmaier's top 10 lists, only because in the first game he ever played of it, he got on the cooperative mode, he got 1 movement out of base camp and drew the event card where he ate his Sherpa. And because of that, he's remembered the game and it's come up in like most memorable moments, games with event cards, cooperative, and it's still on his shelf, and he talks about it regularly just because it has those moments.
Screw you, Sherpa. You're lucky.
It's been a big day today, and I'm hungry.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. I need to play this game.
And it's great because there's enough stuff in there that people are like, oh, this really isn't that hard, and then they'll get a bad roll or pull a bad card, and I laugh like an evil jerk.
You guys remember when Tabletop came out? What year it was?
God,
You mean a more evil jerk?
2013,
14?
In the beginning?
No, it had to be earlier than that because I was still playing in the league when I was first on.
2012.
Like 09, 12?
12.
Okay, no. That would have been my last year.
That was the first season.
Crazy.
It's interesting.
Why did it stop?
Sundry Channel, they deleted all of
Money.
his content
Money.
before.
Fucking capitalism, as Chris says.
Oh, it's not
Capitalism. There's my grievance. You want my
Well,
grievance?
part of it was.
We'll be here all night.
You want to hear my grievance? You want to hear my grievance? I mean, I am still stewing about this, and it's so
Lance,
stupid.
we are here for you. We would like to hear your grievance.
Oh
so
my
we can-
gosh! And here's
out.
where Peter turns it
Put it out.
off.
Go ahead, Lance. I'm listening and I'm ready
Is
to
it about-
have.
No, I'm
Is
not
it about
falling for
Decimate
this
again? 'Cause I might just go get a drink if it's about Decimate.
No, it is not about Decimate. It is.
Oh, you had long hair back then, like a ponytail.
Yes, I did. I was
Yeah.
growing it out to donate it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Come on, let's all be serious now. Go ahead, Lance.
No, this is okay. So Minecraft Dungeons came out. Ha ha ha. Peter left. Ha ha ha. I'm stunned. So Minecraft Dungeons came out
Really
like
Annoying.
was
Yeah.
it last week?
Yes.
Whatever. So
Right.
basically, it's like Minecraft Diablo is what it is. You know, you just
It wishes it was Minecraft Diablo, but yeah, okay.
regardless,
Yeah.
it was like a buddy of mine said, "Yeah, I got it for my kids. My kids love it." I was like, "Fine." I looked in the PlayStation like shop up with my PlayStation. I couldn't find it anywhere. I was like, Minecraft. Oh, here's 7,000 Minecraft skins. No, I just want Minecraft Dungeons. It wasn't coming with anything. So I go and I log into my computer and I type in Minecraft Dungeons in the PlayStation Store, which is linked, of course. And I'm like, oh, okay, there
Minecraft
it
is
is.
owned by Microsoft. Okay, so it was on there.
Yeah, it was on there. So
Quick
okay.
question.
So
Sorry.
what?
Quick question. I'm a PlayStation fan as well. For all the amazing shit that Sony can do and the PlayStation games that they can make, why do they have the worst freaking interface in the world for the PlayStation Store?
The best thing to do it is on your phone or on your computer.
The best thing to do for PlayStation is not use the PlayStation.
That's not true.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
I've had a lot of fun playing my PlayStation.
Boom.
Games. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, for $19.99, I can get Minecraft Dungeons. All right, cool. For $10 more, you can get access to 2 new skins, a like hero cape that your characters can wear to walk around wearing, and a and like a little chicken that'll follow you around. Just like, and they're gonna that's like the downloadable content. And then later in the year, they're gonna have 2 more DLCs, and you'll get those with. And I was like, well, shit, for $10 more, fine, whatever. I'll get this, and my son can have a chicken. So I download it, I buy it, download it, and and then I show it off to my son. He's like, yes, and he starts playing it or whatever, and I just let him goof around with it. I don't tell him anything about the downloadable content. I figured I'll wait till I play it, and then he'll see me with this cape on, and I'll like have this chicken behind me, and he'll be like, oh, how'd you get that? So I'm sitting there and like, okay, finally. So he goes to bed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna see how this works or whatever. It's like it's a very, very simple Diablo game is what it is, but it's fun. It's mindless. So I go in and so on the PlayStation thing, like if your game has downloadable content, there's this little like icon that's on your library, and it has the number of DLCs that you have for it. So here's the icon, and it has a 1 next to it. And I was like, all right, fine. So I open it up in the library, and I go to the spot where you download the content, and it's not there. And I'm like, that's really weird, because everything else, it's there. So I was like, well, maybe it's like in my library or something. So I go in the library.
Not your first DLC problem with this. Remember you had.
There was. Don't bury the lead.
I'm killing the story. Okay.
Don't bury the lead.
Yeah.
I'm ramping up my anger because. So I'm like, all right. So I remember one time, like when I first got my PlayStation, I bought my PS Plus thing, and they give you the free games, they give you the 2 free games when they open up, and I remember I got them, and I downloaded them, and I got charged for them. I was like, why did I get charged for these? I remember, and I actually called somebody on the phone, and I said, why did I get charged for these? It said I could download them for free, and they were like, well, it was like the window was open, but it wasn't linked up to be free. And I was like, well, I want my money back. And they were like, yeah, okay, well, we can't give you your money back, but we can give you credit in the PlayStation Store. And I was like, well, that's fine. I'm going to buy something eventually again anyway, so who cares? But I talked to somebody on the phone. So I was like, that's weird. Download content is there. So I looked at it, and I went on, and the first thing I did is I Googled it, because somebody on Reddit, if somebody's going to complain about something that isn't working right, it'll be out there somewhere. Couldn't find anything, but the game was relatively new, so whatever. I saw all these videos about how to find it in your icons. Like, oh, you can't find your chicken? It's here on this little spot. That's where you can find your chicken. Oh, this is how you download it if you have an Xbox, you know. But I can't find it. I'm like, well, this is annoying. Who cares? Whatever. I'll just talk to customer service tomorrow. It was late. So next day, I go onto the PlayStation website. I'm like, okay, I want to talk to somebody about this. There's no phone number. There's no number to call. There's nobody to talk to or anything like that. But you can chat with people. And I was just like, oh, I just hate using the chat. But strangely enough, I happened to wake up at the exact time that their chat thing was open. So I clicked on the chat, and I got somebody, like, boom. It was like literally 1 minute after they opened. And I was just like, oh, I got somebody right away. And I said, here's my problem. And this is what's going on. And they were like, okay, well, give us this, stuff. You type in to do chat. Like, this is something that annoys me too. Whenever, like, you do anything to talk to anybody in customer service, like, they say, oh, can you give us your name? Can you give us your email? Can you give us this? Can you give us that? Can you this? Give me that? Okay, fine. Give all that to them. You talk to somebody, and the first thing the person does is ask you for all that information again.
Yep.
And I'm like, are you verifying this? Are you just like, I mean, I worked in customer service, and like we had a thing called screen pop, and it would just be like, it literally would work most of the time. If the person inputted their stuff correctly, it would pop up, and it would like at the call center I worked at, the screen would just have all the information. You wouldn't have to, and you just verify, but you wouldn't have to ask for the account number again or no. And so whatever, I had to enter that stuff in again. I start talking to this person. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't work. I can't find my downloadable content. So they're like, okay, go check this on the PlayStation. Okay, it's not that. Go check this. It's not that. Well, it says here you bought it. I know I bought it. And I was like, it's like, it's not there. I don't know what to tell you. And then they were like, oh, well, it's like, go to here and then like do this. And then the guy finally said, try. It's like, this is what we're gonna do. Go ahead and uninstall the game and then reinstall it. And I mean, that should fix it. And I was like, okay, but you're not going to be on the phone with me because that's going to take it's going to take a while. And he's like, well, just contact customer service again. And then if you still have the problem. I was like, all right. And this guy was super positive. He's like, we're going to get this fixed for you. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this for you. And I was like, this guy's pretty cool. That guy was cool. So I uninstall it. I reinstall it. Icon is still there. This is where your downloadable content is. I go to it's just not fucking there. It's nowhere to be seen. It's just gone. And I've seen screenshots of other people playing PlayStation, and they have the chicken. They have the guy wearing the cape. And I'm like, where's my freaking chicken? Where's my cape? And it's nowhere to be sent. So I contacted, and it was like, it literally said, it was like during the SpaceX launch on Saturday. I was like, oh, it's an hour until the SpaceX launch. Well, I'll get in this quick chat with customer service, and then I'll watch the launch. And I was saying,
put two people into space, but you can't get your goddamn chicken
so
in an hour.
Sitting there,
I mean, literally, they watch into space in the span of an hour.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and it said, there are like 547 people ahead of you in queue. And I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of people to chat with. And they said, your estimated wait time is 10 minutes.
Okay. You must have a lot of people.
I watched the rocket take off. I
waited the hour.
I watched that rocket take off. I watched them. It was an hour and 45 minutes before I finally got somebody to talk to. And I was like, all right, here. And I have the transcript saved between this guy and the supervisor that I ended up speaking to in this. And I was just like, and so they were going through this whole process. They were just like, it's like, it's like, my name's Jimmy, is what his name was. And he was just like, okay. And it's just like,
Jimmy from Texas.
No.
Hello,
But
my name is Bob.
But the crux of my problem is that they were like, it should be there. And I was like, can you take a picture of your TV screen and show it to me? I'm like, yeah, sure. I go up, I take a picture of it. And then he's like, and then take a picture of the TV screen after and my kids are like, oh, let's watch them talk about this thing. No, we're going to figure out this PlayStation thing. You can go watch it on a different TV. And I was like, okay. So I took a picture of the TV screen. I took a picture of like the screen where you're supposed to be able to download it, where there's nothing there. And I'm like showing this. And then they said to me finally, it was like, oh, and he's like, well, it should be there. And I was like, well, it isn't. And I gave you $30. I only got $20 of the $30 I got. So you need to fix this. And he's just like, well, you need to contact Mojang and tell them about your problem. And I was just like, I didn't buy it from Mojang. I bought it from you. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Why would I go and talk to them on Mojang support to get my help there for something that you have? And they're like, well, it's a developer problem. It isn't you. And I was like, no, this is your problem. This is your system that I'm trying to download, and it just isn't there.
I'm surprised you paid anything for it. It's free on Xbox.
I had no problem downloading it, by the way.
Yeah, it's on Xbox Game Pass, so I got the dungeon Minecraft dungeons for free.
You're not helping. You're not helping
your
at
account,
all.
No, you need to tell them your account is bugged and they need to get a real developer on it, because you had the same problem with the Red Dead Redemption thing.
Yes, you did. I remember the Red Dead story. It was almost as long as this one.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like losing. I'm
put a
losing
man on the moon.
I am a chicken in a PlayStation.
Goddamn horse.
Could you imagine if Lance accidentally went through a time machine and without knowing, he was standing around an old farm field explaining the story to a bunch of people, like, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, saying, all I want is my fucking chicken for my goddamn son. So a real chicken? No, it's not a real chicken. It is a fake chicken in a game. So you gave them money. Yes, I gave them money through my computer because I wanted a fake chicken for my son for his cape in the game. So you're paying for a fake chicken? Does it do anything for you? No, it's in the game.
Wow.
Moral of the story.
No, I'm not done with my story.
Oh, trust me, he's not even halfway done yet.
So now. So I'm like, so I go back and forth with this guy for a while, and he's like, you got to contact Mojang, and you got to ask them to help you. And I was like, all right, fine, I will. So I go to Mojang Studios, like
owned by Microsoft, by the way.
Yeah, report a bug.
That's why it's free on Xbox.
Like situation, yeah, I'm just like, and this is the most ridiculous, stupid, dumb, thing. Wait,
Lance, hold on, 1 second. I just have to ask. Do you feel like you were being cock blocked?
Because it's like a rooster. No. So I would like to say, today I got another email from Zoom. Remember when Zoom wouldn't work on YouTube, and I submitted a ticket to them at the number one high, because they said this is what level do you want to submit this as, and number one, highest number was if any part of Zoom doesn't work, and the fact that it wasn't working with YouTube, I submitted as a number one. I got another email today where they say we're still working to get to your complaint. We're suffering from an inordinate number. I just think that's hilarious. I'm still getting emails from them saying, "Oh, we're don't worry, we're still gonna get to you. We're gonna answer your question."
Even though it works, even though it already works.
So
fixed itself, right?
Yeah. So here's this thing. So I submitted to Mojang, but the thing is that my ticket with them is still open. It's open. It's unresolved. There's nobody. It doesn't even show that anybody's even looked at it. Which, admittedly, I'm sure they get spammed with how many billion
It's the tickets.
It's
of
Minecraft.
these tickets.
It's going to
like
be a
it's
lot.
Minecraft. Some 8-year-old kid's like, man, I can't find iron. You know, I'm gonna sim in a bug. You know, I'm sure there's like, it's like this is stupid. But no, so then I came and then I was finally like, this is fucking stupid. They need to fix this or just give me my $10 back. At this point, I was like, okay, I don't care. I mean, like at some point they'll make the downloadable content available again. I'll just buy it. I'll just buy the thing and I'll get it and I'll just get it later. Because there's no way they're not gonna like not make the chicken available later, right? So I go through the process again. I basically like ask for a thing and I walk away because I know it's gonna be 1,000 years before I talk to somebody. And then I come back and I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, look, here's the deal. And this is my problem. And you can look up, here's the things from the previous conversations. It's like, Mojang can't help me. It's like, I gave you $10 for something that you didn't give me. Just give me back my $10. And they said, it is our policy that once you've downloaded the game, we don't give refunds. And I said, but I didn't, because as we both agree, it doesn't exist. It isn't there. And he's like, well, that's why you need to go to Mojang. And I was like, no, you took my money. Just give me $10. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's like if I walked into a convenience store and I bought a can of soda and I paid the mini mart the dollar and I walked outside and opened it and there was no soda in it, I wouldn't contact Coca-Cola. I would go I'd go back into the mini mart and I'd say, you sold me a can of soda that didn't have any fucking Coke in it. Give me another one or give me back my $1. It was like, this is absolutely ridiculous that you're asking me to contact like an entirely, it's like, I gave you my money. I gave you my money. Just give me $10.
Right, there needs to be a resolution.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and then they said,
why are they so tough with the? I mean,
and then they said, it's like it's our policy that we never refund any money for if we show that things have been downloaded. And I was like, but you can see that it hasn't been downloaded though. Well, according to us, it has been. But you asked me for screenshots. I've given you those screenshots. You've asked me for anything. It's like I will fucking live stream for you me downloading the game and going through the process, and you will see that it just doesn't exist. It isn't on my goddamn fucking PlayStation. I was like, just give me my fucking $10 back. But they know me. They have me over a barrel. They know that like, oh look, this guy's got like 60 games of this. He's not gonna like throw his PlayStation away. You know, it's like so it's just
do
like
a charge back on your credit card.
And they were just like,
moral of the story: buy it on Xbox first.
You know, and I was just like,
did you bring up the Red Dead?
Did
you ever get the Red Dead thing figured out?
No, I never got that fucking thing.
So you've basically been screwed twice now.
Wow.
But the other things
and you're still bitching about
They
it.
know this account's flag. Like,
but here's the thing: this is gold for a developer though, because they have a repeatable bug.
And the advantage is that he's learned from the experience.
And it only costs
and then I asked for a supervisor, and the supervisor was such a condescending piece of shit. I was just like, and he was chatting to me, and I could just see him say,
have you thought about?
And then I was just like, he's like,
your PlayStation to see if
said,
it fixes whatever glitch you've got.
At one point, he said, "Have we?" And he's like, "Have I adequately resolved this issue with you?" And I was like, "Not even close." He said, "In my mind, we have." And he hung up on me.
You should post that screenshot on your Twitter. How many followers do you have?
12, 13, like he's got.
Yeah, I think I got like 2 or 3 that care. You know.
No, seriously though.
Here's the great thing.
They don't like things being posted on Twitter about them.
They hate that shit.
Is they actually what the thing is they do it is that when they cancel the chat, they wipe the chat clean, so you can't take a screenshot of it.
Couldn't get it. Oh, I would.
But you can ask for a transcript of it. And they give you a notepad file, which you could fucking alter to say whatever the fuck you wanted. And I'm sure that's what they say is like, that isn't.
Just tweet at their online Twitter thing and say, hey, I've gone through hours of wasting my time.
No, they were like, yeah.
I did it on I remember my Amazon account got locked out. As soon as I went to Twitter, they contacted me.
Yeah, they don't like bad social media press, especially right now I bet you they will jump on that and clean it up as quick as possible, because bad social media
They should
press
just
now is not
give you a
good.
gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like those are. I mean, I went to Walmart or where did I go? I went to Sam's Club, and they're like, they were trying to get me to upgrade the membership.
Here's the legalese, like that's what he said. Jimmy.
Sure, they've got all their legal shit.
I am sorry you feel we are not resolving your situation. I love that. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry.
We just took your money and didn't give you anything. Yeah, I'm
you
really
feel
sorry.
we are not resolving your situation to a satisfactory outcome. We know this isn't the answer you were expecting. Yet rest assured, we've done everything from our end to help you. But at this point, there are no further options we can give you at this time, and we apologize for that.
A gift card.
It was our pleasure to work with you today. Please feel free to contact us anytime if further assistance is required. We are here for you anytime. Thank you for chatting with us today. We hope you have a great day. Just
how much did you pay for that Red Dead Redemption DLC? Do you remember?
Whatever it was, I bought the deluxe version.
$20. Yeah, no, the
so it was like
the deluxe version was like $100.
Yeah.
Like $100.
Well, I mean, $60 is for the base game or whatever.
Well, yeah, so you paid $40.
Yeah, and they kept on giving me, well, here's the support link. It's like, have we covered everything that you wanted to discuss today? I said, not even close. Oh, just so I understand, Mojang can't. I said, just so I understand, Mojang can't help me. You can't help me. I'm just out the cash, right? Yep. We are sorry you feel that way, Lance. From our end, we have provided the information of the situation. For further assistance, the link of contact we shared and the information needed as well. Meaning that go to Mojang and ask them to handle it.
Maybe you could talk to that guy, Notch guy, and maybe like take a $10 out of his $2 bill.
Yeah, what is it? It's like I either want a refund or I want to talk to someone else. I have been patient. It's like I have done what you've asked me to do. Either it's like neither you or the game can assist me with this. I want my money. You can be sure I have been trusted to deliver the final resolutions for this request. That's why there is no other source that can offer a different
PS4.
outcome.
Yeah, I went through the PS4. I did the chat thing too, right? Because you can't get a hold of anybody.
They don't offer numbers anymore.
Got hacked and locked out. Like, you know how you can make like what do they call it? A primary PlayStation 4 where you can download the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone hacked me and like got primary away from me. And I was trying to get it back, and you cannot. They will not do anything. They will not change. They will not budge. I berated them, and I'm not comfortable with that. But I really took it to them, and they don't do anything. Like, how do they actually help you?
Can I vent about something now?
Sure.
Excellent. You know what my latest piss off is? I am super hard on my kids, and I expect them to be amazing little human beings. And one of the things they've done is last year, my daughter should have turned 10. So I don't know, she was 9 or 10. She started her own lawn care company, mowing lawns for people for money regularly. Great. My son, he would have been 8 last summer, started his own paper route. Great. So I take him to the bank. I set up bank accounts for them. Everything's good to go. Put the money in there. I want to show them the importance of, making money, getting to spend your money, managing that money, because that's how you learn shit. So we go through this whole thing, sign all the documents, get their stuff, get their cards. Great. So whatever, finally one weekend, take them to Toys R Us. It's your money, guys. Spend whatever you want on whatever you want. It's yours. You've earned it.
Yeah.
But Canada didn't collapse like the US.
They still have it. Yeah, they still have Toys R Us. We just don't.
We still have it.
We don't get nice things.
They don't have child labor laws either in Canada.
Well, no, as I just sign up as the parent, so as a bad parent too. So we go to Toys R Us, they pick out their toys, we go to buy them, their cards don't work. So of course, being the jerk parent that I'm like, well, probably because you forgot your PIN, because it says your PIN's wrong. So it's probably your PIN. So whatever. So I buy them their stuff. You guys can pay me back. No worries. So we go somewhere else, whatever, a week later, and it still doesn't work. Okay. So I go into the bank to them and I say, like, their cards aren't working. Oh yeah, let me have a look here. Oh, their limits are set at $0. Oh, okay. So why? Like, what good is a bank card that gives you $0? Oh, well, when they turn 12, they're allowed to take out $15. Okay. So I went through the process of setting up a bank account for an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you went through the process of mailing me out cards that are of no use. Well, if you'd like, what it does for them is it helps them have the PIN so they have complete security. For what? In case someone else wants to not spend their money? Well, you see, what you could do is you could use your card, and then because you've signed for their account, go on online banking and then just transfer the money to your account. So how is that the security that you said their card and their PIN gave them? So, and then the manager comes over, oh yeah, well, we've had too many parents complain because their kids spent all their money on online games and junk food and stuff.
It's their money.
Okay, so you've had too many bad parents with dumb children wreck this for everybody. Meanwhile, I have to fill out 47 pages to get my kid a card. You couldn't have added one page in there that says, if your kids spend their money, it's their fault. If I spend my money, the bank doesn't refund it to me. That has got to be. So I went livid for a while. And all I got was the
Lollipops?
how to make a complaint. A brochure.
That's
if you
so
feel like
Canadian.
we've not done a good job. And I was like, you know what? Thank you very much. We're going to withdraw all the money from your account and we're going to go home. Thanks for nothing.
No, what you do, you don't just withdraw the money from their account, you withdraw your money.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a thing that's so
Find another
frustrating
bank.
is they basically have you by the short and curlies then, because they've got my mortgage, right? They've got my home equity lines of credit. They've got my credit cards. They've got my American cash. They've got my Canadian cash. My business is set up through them. So they know that it's going to take more work for you to change bank than to just be angry about it, because they don't care. The same reason all the banks offer free iPads to new customers. Meanwhile, all the old customers are saying, why don't I get a free iPad?
Have I
They
mentioned
don't care.
capitalism? Have I mentioned that recently?
Not as much
Not
as last week, but yeah.
No, not yet. I mean, it seems to be a recurring theme.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean to
Have
be
you
weird,
watched
but
the,
I mean, when you renegotiated your contract, you just said, just pay me the minimum, right? I don't need to be paid more.
No, I said pay me as much as I can fucking get, because this job will chew you up and spit you out.
Well, so capitalism is important, you know.
No,
Just for those who
capitalism
need
is
it.
not important, because the job I was negotiating for paid me, God, what, 1,000 times more than what a teacher makes in a lifetime. Am I worth 1,000 teachers?
It's
Nope.
crazy.
Nah.
It's crazy.
It is
But-
crazy.
Yes, fuck
Yep.
capitalism.
Have you seen that series Dirty Money on Netflix, Chris?
No, I
Like,
haven't.
it's really good if you like that, like hit pieces on, not hit pieces, but like exposés on capitalism problems.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. Right. It's well. So okay. So here's the thing. My statement. Let me amend that to fuck late stage capitalism, because that's what we're currently living in, and without safeguards in place to keep human beings from being human beings, you're always going to end up where people are screwing other people over, because that is kind of what we do when we have these large opaque systems. It really doesn't matter what the system is. People think they can get away with it, and the system allows them to, then they're going to get away with it. So some capitalism is okay, just like some socialism is okay. It's like what was it? Aristotle, everything in moderation, right? Like,
Oh, I mean, bullet wounds in moderation. I don't think I want that in moderation.
well,
But if you're going to get a bunch of them or
Yeah.
moderate amount of them,
Yeah.
Beer and pizza sounds good in moderation.
Ooh, yeah, beer and pizza moderation. But it's tough to go moderate on beer and pizza. You know how it is. If anybody else has any grievances, that's mine. I mean, ultimately mine's over $10, and I'm just gonna, and it
But
was.
I mean, also, how many hours did you waste? Like, add it up.
Well, that was my decision to waste the hours, right? I mean, I knew I was going to go smash my head against a wall when I was doing it. I mean, I knew.
You've had a bad string of luck with stuff. Like
He
you had
has.
the Vive problem and
Not the Vive,
or
the
no, not
Oculus
the
problem.
Oculus.
Well, the Oculus works pretty well now,
Yep.
so I can't complain.
happy.
They
on a
fixed, at least they
positive
fixed they gave you a resolution to your problem, unlike the Sony.
on a
Just want the
positive
chicken.
note, what I like to do with all the telephone marketing things is I grew up with a dad who's a wonderful human being, but for some reason has absolutely no patience for telemarketers whatsoever. So it would just be like insanely rude, smash the phone down, be done with it. So I'm the opposite. So whenever a telemarketer calls and I answer the phone and they're like, hello, it's so-and-so from so-and-so. We'd like to bother you with a quick survey. It won't take very much of your time if you'd like to help us out. The first thing I always ask is, how long is it going to take? And they say 10 minutes. I say, I bet you we can do it in 7. They say, pardon me. I say, read the questions as fast as you can and time us. And they're like, okay, because they've done this spiel a billion times. They're just like, okay, we're on a scale of 1 to 10, between 1 and 7 being higher, 7 being 10. Which you think, 4. Okay, and then it's and then you're done in like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. They have had a good day. I've had a good day, and everyone's happier.
I wouldn't be happy.
It's weird in Canada, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so weird.
Very
Like,
weird.
You're so happy that you would talk for 7 minutes instead of 10.
Why not?
The app I've got that basically puts them on the line with a fake person talking. What's the name of that thing?
Oh yeah,
But it's great, and
I've heard that.
it records all of them too, and I listen back, and every once in a while you'll get somebody who actually does try to interact with it, but most of the telemarketers just hang up. But there's some funny ones out there that, like, if you go listen, I think they have like a bunch of samples. What is the name of that damn app? Yeah, keep on. I'll find it and let you guys know.
I can go to my grievance, I guess, then.
Yep.
So my grievance is I go onto my Xbox this week, and they just the way that they force free games like Minecraft Dungeons on you, it just aggravates me to no freaking end. Like, they literally gave me the free game, free DLC. I was forced to have to play it all week with no issues. It just aggravates me to no end. So I went on my PlayStation and did nothing.
Can I bitch about that end boss on that game? Where the game is actually fun for a while. It's pretty fun. I played it and I get to the final boss and it's like completely out of balance with the rest of the game. Like 100%.
Oh, and
ridiculously
Cheesecake
hard.
Factory. I forgot about that. Thank you. Oh,
you got Cheesecake Factory. So yeah, that's what I'll complain about.
I got a grievance.
All right, Barry.
Yesterday, Jenna asked what kind of cake do you want? I said, cake for what? She's like, your birthday's Friday. So I'm like, okay. I guess chocolate mousse or black velvet. I'll get back. But anyway, I texted my sister. I said, I'm expecting a lemon meringue pie this weekend. And she said, you don't get lemon meringue. And I texted back. I said, but it's my birthday. I want lemon meringue pie. She texted back, you get cherry. So I texted back. I said, I want lemon meringue, you fucking pie Nazi. Right? She texted back. I retired that recipe with Grandpa. And I'm like, what the fuck? You're going to use Pop on me now? Oh, I wanted a lemon meringue pie. It's been 15 years.
He's been dead 15 years.
Pop died actually, it's almost 20. Pop died in 2001, right before 9/11. He died in August.
Was it because of the lemon meringue pie? Am I missing the correlation?
No,
Yes,
probably not.
She retired the lemon meringue pie.
Because it was probably his favorite or something.
Yeah, it was. It was his thing.
I hope not.
Well, sorry, Barry. Did you get it in the end or no?
I'll get a
It's
cherry
not Friday
pie.
yet.
Yeah,
Oh, Friday.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Cherry pie tomorrow. This weekend. Matt's coming down to do some stuff in the house for me. There's some plumbing I can't physically do.
All I wanted was a Pepsi. She wouldn't get it for me.
A goddamn Pepsi Cola. I'll take a 2-liter of cola. I don't think we have a liter of cola.
2-liter cola.
They're on the metric system in Canada, remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
we have 2 liters here too, but they call them 2 liters, which is so.
Yeah, we actually have 1 liters too now. If you've seen in the
1
convenience
liters.
stores, they do 1 liters.
Can we move the milk system to the metric system?
I kind of like that bag system they use up in Canada.
What's that?
Yeah.
I like that bag
system
system they
well.
use up in Canada. Their milk's in a bag, and then they have like a little pitcher thing that you put the bag in and stick the end off.
Oh, so it just wastes less material.
Less plastic.
And then
takes
when
up less
you're
room.
lame like me, you just cut the top off the bag, wash it, and reuse it. And then you have like sandwich bags for your kids. It's perfect. You can't cut the top off the plastic jar and put the sandwich in there. It's just awkward for everybody.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you could.
My stepfather collected milk gallon jugs for the hurricanes in Florida. I grew up in Florida, so we always had to have like lots of water. So we would fill up the milk jugs.
I thought the hurricane
Tap water.
Yeah, tap water.
Yeah, back in the good old days.
Well, I
when
mean,
you
that's
drink
to
out of
flush
a
the
hose.
Basically, flush the toilet. Yeah, I don't know if we ever drank it. I know we poured it down the. You can't flush a toilet when there's a hurricane.
That's crazy. I live where I live in Northern Ontario. It's right on the Canadian Shield, so it's bedrock. So we, besides freezing goddamn cold winters, we don't get any sort of natural phenomenon to disaster stuff up here.
You're the only person that can say like, "Oh, we have freezing cold winter." I was like, "Oh yeah," and then I can like try to impress you with how cold it gets up in Minnesota. And I'm like, "Oh wait a minute."
I worked when I was working in film. We were shooting a movie with Renee Zellweger and Harry Connick Jr. and it was a Swedish director, and he wanted it to look cold outside, and it was in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg is cold. And I mean, once it's -5, so that would be like in the 20s for you.
Low 30s, yeah.
Yeah, 20s, 30s for you guys. It's cold. You'll see your breath. Like it's cold. I worked outside 2 days in a row at -52 Celsius. To give you an idea, -40 is where Celsius and Fahrenheit meet. So you would have on 5 layers of clothing. The smart guys who wanted to impress the other guys on set would take a boiling cup of water, walk outside and throw it in the air, and it evaporates. Because of the change from the boiling to the cold, just goes. We've had that here where it's been in the -30s, -40s. Ridiculous.
What movie was that? Do you remember the name?
It was called.
It was Renee Zellweger and
Harry Connick Jr.
How many movies have Renee Zellweger and Harry Connick Jr.?
It may have been
sure not many.
New in Town. She's a woman from Chicago who goes up to like a northern state, and we filmed it in Canada, but it was supposed to be in the States. Is it New in Town?
Yep.
And actually, she is frigging tiny. Like she seems like she's 4 feet tall.
All actors are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So small.
And but she was an absolute sweetheart to everybody. And wherever we shot around town, she would leave her credit card at the closest coffee shop, and anyone was allowed to go order whatever they wanted from the coffee shop at any time.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was very, very, very sweet.
The film opened to negative reviews, but was a financial success, grossing $30.1 million against its $8 million budget.
There you
Nice. Well done.
Mhm.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was, and it's got a whole bunch of B-list actors in it that you'd see, like if you look on IMDb, like, oh, I recognize them. Oh, I recognize them. It's pretty funny. Although the other thing that sounds bad is that for the majority of the actors I worked with, most of them are playing themselves. Like most of them are just kind of being themselves in the movie. I probably only think of a handful of times where I saw someone like what I believe being like full on acting, and it was rare, but yeah, it was pretty funny.
Just hanging out up in freezing Canada, making a movie.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Bill Paxton was in, oh come on, what's the movie called now? And he plays a crazy flamboyant character. And him and Harry Dean Stanton. Do you remember Harry Dean Stanton?
Yeah.
Old guy from the Aliens movie, always wears the ball cap and smokes all the time in every movie he's in.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's awesome. So the two of them would shoot all day, and then we'd go to some closed clubs, and they would play like blues music on like him and Bill Paxton, and until like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so I was making fun of Bill Paxton's flamboyancy at one of the bar nights when we were drinking, and he said to me, he's like, "That's so good, you're probably gay, you just don't even realize it." And I was like, "Just got insulted by Bill Paxton."
They were in a movie called The Good Life. Is that?
Yes, The Good Life, about a young guy with alopecia, and Zoe Deschanel's in it as well, and she sang in it, and she sings really well. Now she's in a band called Him and Her, I believe, which is quite good as well.
She and him or something like that. Yeah, cool. The Good Life was shot primarily in Canada in March 2006 on a budget of $3 million.
Yeah, it's actually funny because that was the first time. It was one of the first English movies I worked on, because I worked in French as well. And we were doing the shoots on the soundstage to get stuff ready. And she walked in with the hair and makeup team, just like happened to be coming by as I was going in it. And I saw her, and I'm super bad with names, but great with faces. And I was so sure that like she was a friend that I had forgotten her name of. So we walked by, and like we said the hello and the super awkwardness, and I was like, I am such an ass. I cannot remember what her name is. And I had to ask one of the grips, and he's like, "You ass? That's the lead. That's Zoe Deschanel." I was like, "Oh, because I just saw her in Elf. That's why she looks so familiar. Okay, I'm an idiot. Great." Yeah.
What did you do for the movies? What did you do? What was your job?
Got coffee.
Coffee.
When I started, I worked in French and I
Coffee.
did set
You had
props.
tea as
and
well.
when I moved over to the English side, I did grip work, electrical work, and assistant director work. So on The Good Life and New in Town, no, on The Good Life, I was an assistant director. On the New in Town, I was a grip. And then there's a bunch of other ones. I've had it was some of the more fun stuff. I did a crazy one with James Van Der Beek, where there was a series of horror monster movies, and I was doing a daily call as a grip, and we built this old fishing boat inside the sound studio, and we had this amazingly bad squid arm. So he was on the boat, and it was probably 25 feet tall. The squid arm would come out, and there were just 6 of us grips on like pulleys, like pulling to manipulate this giant thing into the air. And they had spent a ton of money on the end to make it robotic, so it'd be like to like go after him on the boat. So we're doing these takes after takes, and at the time I was younger. I was in my early 20s. So he would come running out with his pistol and just be like, and then okay, cut. We'd do another take over and over. And each time before each take, they'd come around and offer, eye protection, hearing protection for anyone in the sound stage. And we were just far enough away that we're like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. We kept ignoring it. What they didn't tell us was on the final take, they decided to change it to a shotgun. So he comes out of the damn boat like, right by us and just goes, and we're all like, oh, so you see the arm just kind of be like, the squid arm. We're like, Jesus, that would have been important information, but they didn't give it to us. Oops. So yeah, I basically did whatever they had paid me for. I was a mercenary for hire. We had a great one. Oh, what was that?
Did you guys see the announcement of the colossal giant terraforming Mars with all the plastic pieces and whatever? I'm assuming you saw that announcement. The terraforming Mars big box.
No,
I did see that.
That's probably what we're gonna announce on WGN next week.
No, so I was like, and this is admittedly the picture they used. I mean, it reminds me, and this isn't me trying to take a shit on it. I'm just saying, it reminds me of, remember the 3D Catan?
Yes.
Remember that super pimped, like $200 version of Catan or whatever?
Yeah.
And I remember like thinking, okay, well, this is kind of cool. It's all big and giant and everything like that. I mean, too bad it's Catan, but I mean, but I'm like, I remember looking at it and thinking, yeah, these pieces don't look really awesome, like for the Catan thing. And then I was like, and I'm looking at the picture for Terraforming Mars, and I'm not, and Terraforming Mars obviously is a very good game. People enjoy it and have a lot of fun. I enjoyed my play of it that I had. The second play I did not enjoy because it was the guy who had memorized every fucking card in the game, and just like, ugh. So you're just like, oh no, you should have done this, that, and this. Oh, I beat you by 7 billion points. Isn't that great? Oh.
Play better, Lance.
What? Yeah, I know. I should have played better. But I mean, it's it's like the person that when somebody's teaching you the game, and then like after they like turn in like, oh, I just got 78 3-point. What you can do is you can use this spot for that. It's like, oh well, thanks for letting me know. But I'm looking at it, and I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I don't know, like the giant mushroom, giant sucker.
And I wish I don't know. I know what you're saying.
It looks, everybody Google it, you can find it. It just, it's like 90 3D tiles and markers. And it just kind of looks, I'm never a big fan of like plastic in a Euro. Is that weird? Like, pimp out the wood, make really cool looking wood pieces for Euros. I mean, there are exceptions, obviously, like Blood Rage and things like that are exceptions. But it's I don't know. I'm sure it'll make a gajillion dollars on the Kickstarter, and people that love Terraforming Mars will love it to death, and more power to them. I don't know. It was something about it. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look awesome to me. It looks good. It just there's something about it. Maybe the picture is bad. Maybe seeing it up front and in person. It's not the greatest picture. It is not the greatest picture.
And I can't find it, so I don't know. Maybe you can find it.
Well, I can just share my screen. Here, I'll share my screen.
You could do that.
I mean, if only there was like some sort of chat function that you could copy and paste some.
Yeah.
Well, look, there you go.
It's a little weird. Not sure I love the.
Not that picture
What's
of the turtle.
Oh, it's Chad. Yeah. What is the nuclear explosion thing? Is that a?
What's a mushroom cloud, isn't it?
That's one of the cards.
Yeah, I haven't played it enough. I don't know all the things.
I played
Yeah.
it.
Like I played my second game with sure knew all the cards.
Do you remember Supremacy?
Oh yeah, I still play it.
The
We played
buildings-
Supremacy like 6 months ago. We had a blast.
The buildings look
Literally?
awesome, but kind of looks like someone pooped in the volcano.
I
Maybe
hate when
it's the
people put
orange. Yeah, maybe it's the orangeness or the redness, or not red.
Yeah,
Well, it's Mars, right? So it has to be.
Sure,
that
sure.
color.
But
well, no, it's just the color palette that they used. Like
yeah.
it doesn't feel like a pleasing combination of colors to look at.
No.
Color wheel, baby.
Yeah, color wheel. Got to know it if you're gonna paint minis.
It looks like a bad buffet table.
You know those candy corns that are
Like
pumpkins that
refried
have like a little
beans
green
and-
top?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Lettuce.
Yeah, it looks like kale.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does.
anyway, I mean, it's like I'm sure, like I said, and if I was, and that might also be me not being a huge fan of the game to begin with.
Oh yeah, me too.
Lance, the game is really good. You should try it.
Terraforming Mars, I'm not a fan of.
I mean, it's
Okay.
I don't know.
How many times did you play it, Pete?
I've played it 3 times,
Okay.
and that's 2.5 times too many.
You know,
Yeah,
sometimes you get that
I-
bad group.
I played it at 3, and it's like I'll play it if everyone else is adamant about wanting to play it. But the issue I have now is for how limited time I have to actually play other games and not freaking test and refine and develop. That I want a lot more fun factor out of games. And the issue I just have with that is when you're playing it, you're just kind of like, okay, I get it. Oh, am I doing this right? And then as Lance says, oh, guy over here just fucking maxed out everything.
That's the
and then
problem.
pointing out
Well,
the
you'll
four
get one of them
mistakes.
douchebags.
And that's the problem with me. The guys that play Terraforming Mars at our game store, they play it like 3 or 4 times a week. So like at this
Yeah.
point, they're masters. So when they bring new people in, they just curb stomp them to the ground. So it's no fun. And no matter how many times you play, you're not going to play as many times as they've played. And they play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when it first came out, they literally played it 6-7 times a week. Now they're playing it like 3 times a week still, and it's just like. No.
Let's do this. Let's do a roundtable. Worst board game playing experience that it wasn't like, oh, I wasn't feeling well or I was tired or anything. Like playing
Can I
the
go-
game.
Can I go first? And I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Going to the bathroom is not a game, Aldi. If you're
I know,
having
but I
problems,
can't
you should
wait.
really contact your doctor.
Did Lance freeze? We lost him. My statement was so profound.
Wow, look at that too. He's in such a stoic
I
pose.
know, he's like,
It's like mid fart.
oh no, back, Lance.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Well,
He's
you were
back.
frozen for a while.
You were
Oh,
frozen
you
in
guys were
time.
all frozen. I was like, what's going on?
No,
You-
no,
Oh,
no, it's
we
on
were
your
fine.
Perspective, you
Yeah, we
froze.
were fine.
Yeah.
Well, and then I heard,
Well, can
then I
I go
heard you talking,
but-
and I was like, who are they making fun of? It's all like
But-
stuck.
But
Oh,
guys, you're
It
right.
was me.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you
you.
everyone for
It was-
sharing those stories. Those were
Yeah.
some of the best stories I've ever heard. We
Yeah.
should move on to the next question.
so good.
God,
Go ahead, Aldi, so you can go poop.
What is the name of the game now? I can't remember. Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones board game.
Ooh,
The Westeros game,
I got
Battle
my
of
lockers
Westeros or whatever.
Battle of Westeros. I got locked. My navy got locked down, and I got screwed over in like turn 2, and I was like basically out of the game for the next 4 hours. I was like, I wanted to flip the table.
I'm actually surprised you even played that.
Were you playing Lannister?
I don't remember.
Because it depends on how long ago did you play it. I mean, and this doesn't
10
change
years,
the fact
more
that
than
you,
10,
okay.
maybe
so,
20.
So they changed the game. You had to be playing Lannister because if people that play
Yeah, I had
with,
Jamie. Yeah, Lord Jamie.
okay, so you can lock Lannister down because of the fact that you aren't allowed to put you aren't allowed to put the navy out. You can't create navy to fight the navy that's preventing you
If
from
there's a
having
navy
the navy.
blocking, yeah. Yeah.
So the next edition of the game that Fantasy Flight made, they actually made ports. So you could actually and your army could protect the port. So you couldn't have people come in and take over your port, and then you could create a navy in the port, and the navy could go out and fight the other navy.
Yeah, well,
They
yeah,
actually
it
did
was
change
the game I
that later.
played. Yeah, so the rule was not in the game I played.
No.
So I was basically locked down from like turn 2 or 1, double back stabbed by 2 different people from 2 different directions in turn 2 or 3, and I was basically out of the game for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I love that game.
All right,
It's been too long since I played.
carry on. I'll be back in a minute.
So my worst game, and this is nothing to do with the people that I play with or anything like that or anything. It was I had gotten Caverna, and I played Caverna, and I really liked Caverna more than Agricola. I don't know what it was. I think it had more stuff. Maybe it was just because they were dwarves or whatever. And I went to my gaming convention, and I've told the story before, but just quickly, went to the gaming convention that I always go to that's in Twin Cities called Con of the North. Did you ever go to that, Chris? When you were
I don't think I did. I went to 2D Con a couple times, but never went to Con of the North.
So I went to Con of the North. There was 2 other people there. They're like, oh, I want to learn this game, because I'm a big fan of Agricola. So I was like, all right, cool, play this game. And then we started setting up. I started teaching it, and then another person showed up, and it was the first game of the convention, right? It was like, okay, like, and then people are just wandering in slowly, and because I ran a board game room, and I still run a board game room at that convention, big giant wide open area. Because anyway, so 4th person goes, oh man, can I get on that? Yeah, sure, come on, sit down. And then like a 5th person showed up, and they're like, ew, does that handle 5 people? I said, I can handle it to 7. You want to play? And everybody's like, yeah, sure. And then another person came in, and I was like, well, we're gonna have 5. We might as well have 6. And then literally, then a woman came in, and she was just kind of wandering around the room and just kind of looking at everything. And then she stopped, and she's looking at everything. And she's like, oh, this looks really interesting. And then somebody said, did you want to play? We have room for 1 more. And she's like, yeah, sure. So now I've started and restarted, like, teaching how to play the game like 5 times. So I teach everybody how to play the game, and then we sit down to play. And I had played 3 and 4 player Caverna, but never more than that. And what I didn't realize, that when you play 7 players, it was going to last 8 hours. and I literally ruined the game of Caverna for myself and like everybody else after that moment. There's still people. It is a joke that we say, win 7-player Caverna. Like someone will come in, where are we gonna play 7-player Caverna this year? Yeah, but yeah, that was probably, and I played it once since then, but I ruined it for myself with that 7-player game. It was the Baton death march of board game experiences. Anyway,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was horrible. Who else?
I've got 2. The one that we played and we would keep playing, I don't know why, but it would always leave us angry no matter who won, was the Game of Thrones card game. The one where you make the decks. It's kind of like, and then you're trying to collect power by like hitting
the LCG.
Yeah, the LCG. That for whatever reason, like we would always end up angry like after playing that game, because it's just like, because essentially we called it like one player would always turn into the power pinata. Like everyone else would kill their shit, and then they can't protect themselves, so everyone's just beating on them for power tokens, and there was nothing you could do about it. And if it was your turn to be the power pinata, it really sucked. Yeah, we kept playing for some weird reason. The game that really infuriated me though is Machi Koro. One of my friends brought that game over.
The activity, you mean? That isn't a game.
He said it was a game, and we started playing, and I rolled the dice like 3 turns in a row and got no money, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, where you're hoping those you're hoping those numbers just hit perfectly, but yeah, they just don't.
Yeah, no. Well, and then especially because you can actively keep another player from playing the game if you get those red properties. Like you can just be like, no, you don't get to do anything. Sucks for you. It's like fantastic.
Play better, dude.
Yeah.
Play.
Fucking, if I wanted that experience, I'd go play Magic.
Barry, what do you got for me? Worst gaming experience.
It was Fury of Dracula, the 2nd edition. I played this game a few times with the same group of people actually, and it's always taken like 2.5 hours, depending.
It does last about 45 minutes too long. That game does, but yes.
But that wasn't it. Somebody else went to play Dracula. Somebody within this who's played this game, 4 or 5 times together. The 4 of us or however many. This game was 6 fucking hours long, right? and about I'm big.
Poetic and eloquent as ever, Barry.
I'm big on if the majority of people you having fun kill the fucking game, But this dude just kept pumping it out. It was horrible.
Which game is it?
It was Fury Dracula the second edition.
Oh yeah, that game can go forever.
Correct. The third, the newest one's the third edition.
They're on a fourth now, but yeah, there's the third.
Sorry,
the first and second edition. First edition was the GW edition. The second edition was the Fantasy Flight edition. They did a third edition, and now WizKids is doing a fourth edition.
Okay, it was the second edition.
I own second and third, and I've heard so many people say first edition is so good. I've never played it though.
Which is better, it or Whitechapel?
It has too many crazy random Dracula up here.
I like the theme of Dracula better, but
I do too.
You have to when you play that game, you need to play a variant on the combat, because the way they handle the combat, especially in second edition, is so clunky.
Yeah, so you choose the card and you can't choose the
same and like, you used a gun and I used a rope, and now let's figure out transmogrify. It like I played, a lot of people played the game of Dracula where they say like if you can, it's like something like you can catch, if you manage to find Dracula, I think it's something like they say like if you manage to like find him with somebody like 4 times or something like that, like, and then Dracula just plays a card and escapes, right, and gets away, and then like they use the
combat's almost.
That's what it was. They had escape.
I think the latest version, the third edition, was. Is that a Kevin Wilson version? I think it is. Can't remember.
Hey, the production quality in that is so awesome. I love the fact that I love the fact that Dracula's got the little map, so he doesn't have to look at the board.
Yeah.
When he decides where he goes and stuff like that. So like
I think they all have that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's just stuff like that is so good because I mean, it's like with hidden movement, it's like you play the player, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I still I mean, there's also like there's so many cool things too. Like when you go on the ocean and you lose health, it's like the players are like, oh, he lost a health. He's on the ocean. It's like everybody's just like, where'd he go? I love, Fury of Dracula is.
Yeah, if you got caught during the day with the newer version, you were toast.
Yeah,
like you would lose almost all your life probably in a normal, like a pretty normal combat.
We had an epic.
It goes against you a couple times.
We had an epic moment in the game where I was playing Dracula, and because the Dracula won't take the trains, right? Because he sees like he's above it, so he just rides in his carriage or he travels himself. But the players can ride the trains, but if they roll an X on that die, it means their papers.
It doesn't.
No, it says like their papers are out of order.
Papers out of order.
Yeah, they won't let them ride the train because they don't have a ticket, or maybe they don't have a passport to cross the border or something like that. And I remember like they had me at one point, and then it was just like to live, it was one of those things where one of the players rolled an X, so he couldn't jump on a train and catch up to me. But next turn they were going to get me as long as he didn't roll an X, and he rolled an X again. And then they were like, son of a bitch. And then like the third turn, it was like their one chance before I jumped on the water and I was going to be able to get away again. It was like, just don't roll an X. And of course, X, just like, but I have a ticket. It's like, I just want my chicken. Just give me my chicken or my $10. But anyway, Connor, worst game ever.
I'm weird in that my memory forgets bad experiences, but I think Chris talking about Machikoro actually reminded me of one, in that I was an oddity in the game world for many reasons, but one being that I had never played Catan for a long time. People talked about it forever, so finally my wife caved, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, and got Catan so we could play it, and I played it 2 or 3 times, and it was horrible. I hated every minute of it. It was just infuriatingly.
You're so wrong.
I still haven't played it.
You guys, with your criticism of Catan.
It just doesn't sound appealing.
Such a bad game by accident. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that like, for the age of it and for what it's done for the hobby, it's amazing. For my enjoyment of it, there's a lot of very popular games that I don't enjoy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not pandemic bad. You know, so I mean, it definitely has, you know, some good things going for it.
What got you into gaming there, Connor?
Me? The quick version. The quick version was I didn't have a TV as a kid growing up. My mom wouldn't allow it, so we played board games. And then when I grew up and I started having kids, I didn't want them watching the video games that I was playing. So I got back into board games, and then I actually had an internal blood leak that meant I couldn't run my construction company anymore. So while I was hospitalized, I developed Summit, and then I developed it, and my brother-in-law
asked you into modern board gaming, like the more modern stuff.
The first two games, the very first game that got me to reignited board games for me was Blockus, because a buddy in film actually had brought it out, and people weren't playing board games, and my buddy Jeremy was, so we went over there and played that. Then we bought the first two games we bought after that were Seven Wonders and Betrayal at House on the Hill. Okay. Those were the next two, and then from then that would have been.
Man, Betrayal's a horrible game.
2006. I enjoyed Betrayal. I did not enjoy the expansion to Betrayal.
Betrayal broke almost every single time we played it. I'm still amazed at how many people love it. Really,
I don't understand.
Every time you have a new player, that new player ends up being the person who has to do the haunt every fucking time. The person who has the least understanding of the game by bad luck is always the bad guy.
Well, and then it's like my whole time, every time I played Betrayal, is like I was just like, please, let's just get lucky and get the haunt going as soon as possible, because you're just wandering around this place picking shit up. You know, is this gonna be useful? I don't know. We gotta wait and find out if it is. You know, and then all of a sudden, all right, well, I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I have no reason to do any of the things I'm doing. Oh, the haunt started. Yep. None of the stuff I have is helpful. I'm in the wrong spot. There's nothing I can do.
Yes. We did one haunt where I don't remember the storyline, but basically the house collapses from top down, and I was in the attic. So we spent
out real quick.
Hour. Yeah. And like anyone in the attic's removed from the game. You're like, really? That's the opening rule? Okay. Well, I'm done.
Has anybody played the Betrayal Legacy?
No. Or isn't Baldur's Gate another one like that?
Yeah, I've played Betrayal Baldur's Gate. I like
that's a Betrayal, right? System.
Yeah, Betrayal of Baldur's Gate.
I wanted to try that one, but is it any good?
I liked it, but I've not played the regular Betrayal to compare, so I don't know how different it is.
Well, if it wasn't broken, then it's better.
It wasn't broken. We had fun. We were able to play it without any major issues.
Well, and that's just it. It's like when, for example, like almost always, if somebody said, if you could play one game, what game would you play? And I say I'll play Battlestar Galactica with 4 of my best friends.
Oh, that game's so much fun.
Yeah. It is flat out. This is once again calling out to anybody, anywhere, anyhow that has the Daybreak expansion. I will buy it from you. It's kind of a name your price type of situation.
I've got 3 of them.
Yeah, I wish I got more.
Really?
I think so.
You do not have a Daybreak expansion. Well, then you need to sell me one.
I bought all the expansions.
Well,
I'll have to dig it up though. It's buried. You know where it is, buried.
And honestly, Aldi, if you have like fairly pristine versions, because it's the one game in my collection that
now they gotta be pristine.
Now they gotta be pristine.
What the fuck, lady?
You gotta give him a chicken.
Like I know this game will never get made.
Prissy little bastard.
Time out. If you have, because the versions I have, it shows that it's been well loved.
It's well loved.
All he wants is the shrink wrap still on the box.
No. I mean, I would buy another complete set, honestly, just so I could have I could swap out components, because my stuff's kind of beaten up. But anyway, regardless,
I'll look and see what I have.
Yeah, my absolute that'd be the game, because it is. But when you first play it, you've got to, I spend a half hour. If I have a new player, I spend a half hour with that new player explaining to them what it means to be a Cylon, and explaining to them the nuance of what it takes.
So much fun to be a Cylon.
Because there is nothing worse. There is nothing worse. If you know how to play and you're a Cylon and you're looking for the other Cylon player and you can't find them, and they're not doing it right. You're like, okay, they've almost made it, They just need to jump 2 more times. I can't believe I'm still the only Cylon.
So my question is, what part of it makes it your number one? Is it the fun?
It's the interaction.
It's
There hasn't been a single game since it that has done the Secret Trader as well as it does.
Yeah. Was it Shadows over Camelot? Is kind of.
Yeah, that's mine. That's mine.
I'd prefer to play.
But Shadows over Camelot, I mean,
last
it's like
5
usually
hours.
it's just do the catapults. Just send the catapults. I mean,
Yes, as soon as someone suggests sending a catapult, I always look sideways at them and like, they're the traitor easily.
Yeah, I mean, whereas
I think that's
I have so many iconic moments where like like somebody was sitting there and like they were playing Laura Roslin, and like it was like, okay, it's difficult class, difficult 12, it's purple and green. Jason, how can you help? He's like, well, I got 1 card, but because I'm Roslin, but it's a good card, so I'll put it in. And he like flipped it in, and it flips over, and it's a red 5, and we're all looking at it, and he's just like, oh shit.
that basically just ruined a 4-hour game. Right?
Oh no, we brigged him and he had fun being the silent. But I mean, it's just this reaction. He just because like the entire everybody's like, no. We just stopped looking at it, and then like he didn't even try to cover it up, like, oh, that wasn't the card I was supposed to. He just says, shit.
I will say actually one of my friends, this was like I think in January. I think it's a fantasy flight one because it's based off their Netrunner property. It's the like you're the corporations in charge of LA.
Android.
That was What was the name of that one?
Yeah,
Android
I'm trying to
Netrunner?
think. Yeah. Well, it's based off the Netrunner universe, but it's an
Netrunner
actual board game.
It was a negotiation game. Came out.
Yeah, and it has a hidden
Win.
trader mechanic, and like
I think
that one
Angels?
felt pretty cool.
New Angels, was that it?
Yeah, it might be. Say that again.
Yeah, it was like New Los Angeles or something like
New
that.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that game actually. I've never
was it
opened it.
New Angeles?
New Angeles.
New Angeles or something like that.
New Angeles. Yeah, New Angeles.
I
Yeah.
actually have the original Netrunner game, board game, not the card game, the board game.
The
the
dark
weird cardboard
detective.
kind of-
Or what was it called?
Yeah.
Detective? No. It was Kevin Wilson's game.
I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, New Angeles. That was it. Yeah, that one was cool because it was the thing I liked about that one was the trader mechanic. Like you couldn't outright oppose the other players because like you still had to meet a certain victory condition to win as the trader. Like what we ended up doing, like so I ended up being the trader, and we hadn't read the rules closely enough to understand that like everyone could lose. Because I was thinking, as the trader, I just got to keep them from their victory conditions. But it's like, no, you also still have to like get a certain amount of victory points that everyone's competing for. And it was a really cool experience because it was really like you could screw them over as the trader, but it wasn't. It was similar to Battlestar Galactica, where if you did it right, like no one knew what was going on, or they were just absolutely convinced it wasn't you that was the trader. If you play it right. So that one was pretty cool. I had fun with that one.
I wanted to try it, but never got around to it.
One of the hidden trader ones I love because of the fast play time too is Tortuga 1667 by Facade Games. It's one of their dark cities, the ones that look like books, and it plays 2 to 9, I think, and it's phenomenal.
That's a very good game, and he's got another one on there on Kickstarter right now.
It's exploding right now. Bristol 1350. But Tortuga is so good because it's fast. It's a small footprint, and the hidden trader is so good. The game's fine with even numbers, but on odd, it's amazing. It's a Dutch player, so it's pirate themed, obviously Tortuga, and it's so good because with that Dutch player, figuring out whose actual alliances are in the game so fast to play that it's just I've had so many enjoyable experiences. Plus, I think it's the only game I've played that I've beaten Isaac Childers at, so I get to hold that over his head because I was a Dutchman and I had them all fooled.
It's pretty cool.
It's good. They do a really good job. Yeah, and they have 1350 on Kickstarter right now.
Peter,
And
we never
Travis
heard your hated game moment.
Sadly, it's with one of my favorite games, Western Legends. I was teaching a 5-player game of Western Legends to 4 new people who just didn't get it and turned a 2.5 hour game into like a 7 hour game of Western Legends. And it had a hard time grasping the concepts of combat and poker and the rustling and it was just dense. I don't know. I have no other way to describe it. It was just people who just didn't get it. It wasn't the kind of game that they were expecting. And I was all excited.
At a con?
No, it was at my local game store. And it was funny because these guys play big, heavy games. I'm like, oh, this game will be a breeze. They'll get it. No problem. It's not that hard. It's a bunch of little mini games and you can do this here. And for whatever reason, they just didn't get it. And we trogged through that game and they were having such AP trying to think of what to do that we started at like 11 a.m. and we didn't get done until after like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And I was so burnt after that I didn't play Western Legends for like 2 months after that game because I couldn't look at it without being
to play that game.
disgusted. And I love Western Legends and I've gotten to recently play the Blood Money expansion because we have a couple of reviewers that live in this area. So I was able to take a look at the Blood Money stuff and it looks great. I'm super excited for Western Legends. I love that game, but that experience was the worst.
You're getting sucked into a Last Jedi.
Yeah. I remember demoing games at, I think it was either the Alliance trade show or the ECD trade show. I was there for TMG. And it was the night that they had the open bar. And it was like, and so then the game store owners are like getting liquored up. And Forrest was actually there helping me out because it was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he was there helping me. And we were sitting there and we were like demoing games. And I remember this guy came over and was completely trashed. And I was trying to teach him dungeon roll, which is like one of the easiest, just push your luck.
Just roll the dice or not. Yeah.
Roll the dice. Oh, did you get enough swords to kill the slimes? No? Okay, well, you better re-roll. And I spent like 20 minutes trying to teach this drunk. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, but this drunk idiot, like a 3-minute game. And then like we got through the first level and he was just like, yeah, this just takes too long for a dice game. I was just like, well, I'm sorry, you won't buy it.
You want to play LCR?
I just was like, okay, well, thank you for your time. Just like, go have another whiskey, sir. That's just a bad idea. I never understood that. It's like we're gonna do an open trade show where now publishers can demo their games. So we're just gonna get the people like playing the games just trashed.
Yeah.
Sell more games.
Maybe
they didn't have a ticket system. It was just like open.
No, it was just open bar. And Alliance may not even exist this time next year. So, which sucks, obviously, because that's a big company and a lot of people work for them, and I don't wish them to be unemployed at all. Say what you will about distributors and whatever. I don't know. Anybody else? I mean, we've been all over the place tonight. I mean, Connor has just come on and
We've
just
spent more time talking about board games on the show tonight than I think we have in a
I know.
month.
I mean, and Richard Ham's like, I can already hear Richard Ham saying something. Of course, you have it on the dawn. You talk about board games all night. I'm actually kind of annoyed with him right now. Well, actually, I'm not really annoyed, but I was like fake annoyed with him because he's been coming on the Alaboom how regularly for like a good couple of years, like making 80% of the Wednesdays. I'd say
over the last year more so than the previous 2 years, but yes.
Yeah. So and then he comes on here, he has a good time, right? And so
that's debatable.
Yeah,
you probably didn't hear the duck story.
So yeah, maybe chicken. Chicken wasn't a duck. It was a chicken. And by God, they're going to give it to me.
I promise I was listening.
No. So he has his 2 people that he works with now, and he started a new top 10 list, which that's cool. And like I actually saw one of them. I was like, oh, it was like some top 10 list thing, and I was like, and I almost never watch those things. I almost never watch these things, and I was like, oh, click. It'll just be background noise. I want to see what these top 10 like island games are. And I thought it was just Richard doing it. I didn't know he's the 2 people, but like he says he said in that quote, and he's like, "Hello, it's it's me, Richard, or whatever, and I'm here with my two best friends in the world, and it's these two guys, right?" And I was like, and then I was like, what? And I was like, I haven't seen, he hasn't done hours upon hours of live broadcasting. I've known Richard for like whatever 6-7 years now. I mean, these two guys, and I even posted, I posted a comment on the video, and I was like, I said, throw, just basically throws his best friend of Rado banner in the garbage and walks out the door. And then I thought he'd say something like, "Oh," but no, he doubles down. He goes, "Well, all things must come to an end." It's just like, you son of a bitch. He could have just said, "Oh, buddy, you're like, no." He just doubled down. He was like,
"Are you gonna make a 3-hour YouTube reaction video?" Friendship with Richard.
I should just like, and this, maybe I can like just critique. I'll do like critiques of his videos and just like just trash on them. Like, have you seen those where they just watch the video and they critique it?
It doesn't seem like a good use of time, but
no, it doesn't seem like a good use of time at all. But
you probably get a ton of watches though, which is why people do it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mystery Science 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife said that to me, that I should do that. I should do it.
So Van Overbay has been in the chat room for like hours, and like I told him anytime he wants to be on, he can, but he hasn't like reached out to me and asked to like for the link or anything. So Van, if you want to come on, man, you're more than welcome to.
He's the smart one.
We pay attention to the 10 people watching us.
Mm.
Oh my god!
Well, I mean, the more people get on the show, we'll outnumber the people watching the show. So maybe we have to have some symbiosis here.
Hey, that's a good bit.
So I have an update on
show where you
Anthony.
always outnumber the audience.
So I have an update. I do have an update on Anthony. I have convinced him. He says he's going to try to make it next week.
From his car, or is he actually going to have it?
Oh, Scott, why? You son of a...
That's what the chicken.
I'll give you a high
I
five.
love your background.
It does absolutely nothing for you. Doesn't even pick up.
But look at it. Look at it, Lance. It's so close yet so far.
Just with the
look at that
hatred of a
chicken.
thousand suns.
Look at that beautiful
It
chicken.
wouldn't
so
even be
cute.
that big of a deal if it just didn't say I have something to download, but there's no way I can download it.
It does kind of look like a duck from here.
I mean, and honestly, it's like if
More of a
it was like
duck-like chicken.
Goose like duck.
if I bought a loaf of bread at the grocery store and it tasted like shit, I wouldn't go to the farmer and complain about his wheat. It's just like, give me back my fucking money. Just give me the $10. No, you can go put one thumb in your mouth and one in your ass and wait for us to say switch. That's basically what they said.
Now, what your community should do is actually mail you a chicken, and then that way you can be happy.
I
wish
remember
I
like
could give it to you. I'd just give it to you.
I remember like
it's a worthless nonsense in this game.
like 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the post office to mail something or whatever. Okay, I got another fucking thing that bothers me here.
I love that they're
I'm gonna get a
trolling you.
drink.
But I went to the post
Yeah,
office
go
and
ahead,
I
take
was
your
sitting
time.
there and I was like, and I had like these 3 or 4 packages to send, and all of a sudden, like I hear a fucking cock-a-doodle, and I was like, what? And I was like, what the hell was that? Is that somebody's phone? It sounded like organic though. And then I look over the counter and there's all these boxes, these cardboard boxes that little air holes punched in them, and people are mailing livestock.
You
And
can't.
I was like, is that,
You can.
are those
You can.
live chickens? And they're like,
chickens
yeah.
don't eat for the first 24 hours of their
Yeah.
life or something. So you can mail baby chickens.
so
Yeah.
no, but these were live chickens, and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, but
Baby
there's a
chickens, but
special
usually
there's a
live
special
chickens.
packaging for it, and it was a special package. It had air holes or anything like that, and it's like you pay, and like we deliver them within, like they said, we get them and we deliver them within 16 hours or something like that.
Yeah, because
I
they
was
don't
like,
eat
that's
for
the
24
most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. They're just chickens in boxes behind this guy who's selling me stamps. I was just like,
If you watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, one of his recent episodes is actually about the USPS, and he talks about the fact that you can mail chickens and that they don't eat for the first 24 hours. People actually, and there's a whole list of stuff of animal types.
But I'm going to say this. I want to say this. And this goes out to every single person who is going to run a Kickstarter and who wants to send somebody a prototype of their game, and then they're going to want to send that prototype on to somebody else. Now, you are all wonderful, fine human people, but
you're assholes.
But I don't want to rain on your parade.
Go, spend the extra 15 minutes or whatever. Buy when you send it to me, or send it to any other video reviewer or anybody else, and you want it sent on to somebody else, you go in and you buy the label for the place that you want to send it. You want to send it back to you, you buy the label the same time you send it and say, I want to buy that label, and then put it in the box, so that when I'm, or any other person who's handling this, gets done with it, all they have to do, put it in the same box that you shipped it in, and then you put that label over the one that's on top of the one that you have. And then when the postal worker comes to my house, I can hand that to them and they say, okay, thank you, scan, I'll take care of it. And then I don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to PayPal me the $15 or whatever it is that I'm gonna have to pay for it. I mean, there are still people that I've sent like, oh yeah, I'll give you that money. And you just give up. It's like the fucking chicken. You just give up eventually. It's like,
you won't get your 15.
You still owe me $15.
So they gotta put like,
I'll get that for you.
I come back to more about the chicken.
Yeah, we're not done with the chicken yet.
It's a similar story.
Or it's like, I want you to send that UPS, or I want to send that FedEx. It's just like, I don't want to have to schedule a pickup to have that person come and get that. So I have to make sure I'm home and I hand this thing over and I get this. Or I don't want to drive to a FedEx store or a UPS store and drop these off. And I don't want to have to go put this in a box, tape it up, write the address on there.
Connor's like, let me cross off Undead Viking.
No, it's worse than that. When I made Summit, first of all, I spent months to hand punching each hole for the dual layer tracks that I made myself at home. Made up 6 prototypes, sent them out, and because it was my first game, no idea, and was way too polite to ask any reviewer to mail them on. So I sent them out and was like,
I mailed yours back. I mailed yours back.
You brought mine back somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he had to put it on his luggage at Gen Con. He had to fill up his luggage.
I think you were the reason that I actually found out about it, because when afterwards, it was a while after, you're like, do you want me to mail this to someone, or what am I to do with this? And I was like, really? You would do that? You're like, yeah, you just got to tell me. And I was like, son of a.
See how much Lance has changed in the past 5 years. Like, how many? When that game come out? 2014.
Now I rarely, if ever, do Kickstarter stuff anymore. I'm done. I'm out. God, Peter, why? Why do you have to troll me? Why do you?
What? I'm just sitting here patiently listening to your story.
Nothing. What are you talking about? I love how you're like blended into the corner.
I know it's hot, isn't it?
It is. It's like you're the star chamber guys.
This is what their customer service people look like when they're talking to you over the internet. Lance,
Did you have a PlayStation 1, Lance?
What? No. I've had every iteration of the PlayStation.
The only one I haven't had is the 4. But I remember subscribing to the magazine service that would come with a disc for the PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the demos on it. Yeah. Remember how exciting those were when you would get those? Like a present of a bunch of games on a disc. That was so much better than what the PlayStation Network is.
Yeah.
So much better.
And
I'm a huge PlayStation fan.
I've never had any
do demos much anymore.
Oh, I missed that. You guys both said both at the same time.
The Origins is coming up. Origins. I'm excited. I'm excited to. And
are you in the program?
Well, we have a booth, so we automatically get some.
But they're not on the video stream.
No. I saw.
What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna sit?
Hey, Nerfenstein, just so you see, it still exists.
Oh God. Has that ever been open?
No. It doesn't even have an expiration date on it, so I think it's good forever.
Why don't you eat one and let us know?
No,
I'm pretty sure it starts out expired.
this
Right now,
is
it's on live TV.
I know what
Turn
it is.
this
black.
this
It's no good.
this has been I mean back when like people would see this in the it's got a milky residue in it now.
Nobody would ever buy that.
What is it?
It's a
Gefilte
Jew
Gefilte
fish.
fish
thing.
or gefilte fish or whatever.
Gefilte. Hard G.
It is
Minus
six
Shevitz, right?
pieces. 6 pieces of
Nasty ass fish.
gefilte
Yeah.
fish in liquid broth. It says
How much sodium is in there?
kosher for Passover and all year round. Manischewitz quality since 1888, and Manischewitz supports
Probably when it was
Israel's
made.
Red Cross.
Manischewitz makes a lot of kosher food for the grocery stores.
Well, let's see here. Their serving size is 1 piece. There are six pieces per container. There are 70 calories, and 45 of those calories come from fat. Let's see here. Sodium is 340 milligrams per piece.
1 piece, yeah.
Per piece.
It's keto friendly. There's 1 gram of carbs.
Gobble them up.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Make a
You have
gefilte
fun,
fish
Lance.
Ugh.
No, it was
Like being a lettuce wrap.
when I used to be part of the like this RP role playing game group. We did a Secret Santa thing where we'd send stuff to him, and I had gotten that from a poker buddy as a white elephant gift that his dad had given to him, and he gave it to me when he came over poker. So I was like, what the heck? I'll just put it in this box and I will send it. And then so for like 3 or 4 years of that RPG group, we would use Secret Santa and we would send it off, and there everybody was like, oh, I hope I get the gefilte fish thing. And then strangely enough, like after that RPG group kind of vanished, I was like, oh, I wonder what happened to the gefilte fish. And then like 2 years later, somebody just randomly on Board Game Geek said, hey, I think I have something of yours. Can I have your address? And I was like, sure. And then like 4 days later, this box showed up. I opened it up and there's the gefilte fish. I hadn't had it for like 4 or 5 years. And I was like, oh, you made your way back, gefilte fish. And then I just put it behind me on the board game.
Have you ever eaten it?
No,
I mean, a gefilte fish ever?
no.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming you're not missing anything.
It doesn't look good at all.
It doesn't look
It looks absolutely hideous.
What kind of fish is it? Is it
Gefilte?
I
cod?
think it's cod. Yeah.
Is it a
Oh,
salted-
where is your cod now?
In the gefilte fish bottle.
Yes. Are we gonna do the Jackbox?
Yeah, I could do that.
I'd be up for Jackbox.
Nah, not me. It's already 1 a.m. It's too late for me to start. So I will bow out.
All right. Well, thank you for trolling me in an excellent fashion once again, Peter.
Well, Lance, there are some things in life that are just worth living for. And
Well, as they say, if
It's
you only hurt the ones you love, right? So
it's true. It's true.
so
You gentlemen-
gefilte fish is a ground deboned fish. So they grind up fish and make it and form it.
into a patty. It's like a hot dog
Yeah.
of fish.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
hot
I
dog.
didn't think it was
Fish dog.
possible to make that jar of milky white fish sound worse, but Aldi did it.
I did it. It's typically made with
Really
carp,
good.
whitefish, or pike.
Pike, perfect.
The worst
Thing you don't
fishes.
want to eat.
or as
Fun fish to catch
well,
or
what do you
horrible
when you
fish.
go fishing? Do you call northerns? Do you call them northerns? You call them pike? You call them jacks? You call them snakes? What do you call them?
On Northern Ontario we call them pikes. I
Okay.
think Manitoba they call them jacks.
Yep. So like, yeah, like you like it's weird in North Dakota. My grandfather always called them snakes. It's like, just cut that snake, let it off the line, just cut the line, let them have it, because they're just all
Yep.
slimy and disgusting, and you never want to keep them anyway. But yeah, northern, they're just called northerns in Minnesota.
Hey, Lance,
Here.
before I go.
Oh, where's the big? Here we
No,
go.
no. You
Oh,
got
I
off-
know.
you
I
got
don't. I
sidetracked.
don't believe you.
No. You got sidetracked in your Minecraft story about the chicken, but you never finished telling us what you actually thought of the game.
That is
you-
actually true.
Yeah, you started to, and then you got so pissed off about the chicken. What did you think about Minecraft Dungeons? Because I've got it, and me and my daughter were going to play it this weekend, and I'm curious what your thoughts about it were.
Fool me once, shame on you.
He's
Not choice.
Legit question.
No, it
Shame
is.
on me.
Did he not finish his review of
No,
it?
he didn't finish the review.
He never did it.
Here, this is horrible for live TV, but this is
waiting for.
the pike.
So I'll just say this, and you're gonna hang up, and you're not gonna hear it anyway. There, see, son of a bitch, son of a bitch! I knew it.
That's the pike.
Ice fishing that?
Yeah. This kid's tiny. It's my buddy's son, and this kid is freaking hilarious. He took every fish off the line, and look at his jacket.
Peter Shower, if you can hear me, I would pee on you if you were on fire right now.
That is a
Fish
disgusting.
is as big as the kid is.
I don't like fish.
I only really like either some sushi fish, but fresh caught fish. Like when you have fish, not pike, but real fish, like a nice walleye or something, fresh caught, cooked. Oh, it's very good.
Sushi's the best.
Have you seen this One Step from Eden game?
Yes, it's good, but it is freaking hard. Like,
is it as hard as man? I thought I had. I mean, I was kicking ass in the Hell Train, or not Hell Train, Monster Train.
Oh, Monster Train.
And then the final level comes, and you're like, oh yeah, I could not beat it. So I mean, there must be some more pit tricks I need to learn.
Yeah, it's mainly it's finding a good combo like within your first 2 floors or so. Because
I thought I had the game beat when I cloned my like 99 damage card 5 times.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then I filtered all those out, all of my bad stuff out, and then I'm like 99, 99, 99. But I'm hurting myself too.
Right.
And then
then you get to the final boss and you're like,
that doesn't even do a click of damage to him.
Yeah.
That's a really cool game.
What's your favorite class in Slay the Spire?
Slay the Spire. I think it's a tie between the robot guy and then just getting a like Shiv deck going. Like having an unstoppable Shiv deck is so much fun. With the if you play, if you can get a good poison deck, I like the poison. Yeah, the second one, the assassin person lady, whatever. Yeah, well, she's the one who does shivs also. It's
Well, yeah, but if you can get that shiv, like the upgraded shivs, and then just like you always got 3 in your hands almost, no matter what you do.
Yeah, but yeah, Scott, One Step from Eden, like it
just showed up on my Steam front page, so I was like, ooh.
Yeah, like it's tough in that it requires a lot of timing and manual dexterity to learn the boss patterns and avoid the attacks.
So it's like a real time.
Oh yeah. Like it's absolute real time, but you also still have to use the abilities like as stuff is going on. It's all I would honestly rate it more as a rhythm game because every enemy has a very specific attack that they do. Like they will always.
It is the rhythm of the night.
And so you're trying to figure out, okay, my spells only affect certain parts of the battlefield. So I have to maneuver to where I can use it to damage them. But then I also have to make sure, I'm dodging the attacks, and it's only a 16 or a 4x4 grid. So there's only, 16 squares you can physically move in, but like there's diagonal attacks, there's cross attacks, there's attacks that'll fill up, all the way except for one row or column. So it's a lot of fun. It's just, I would say it is a very steep learning curve. Like you have to put some time into learning the attack patterns if you want to get anywhere close to the end of the game.
Have either of you ever played FTL?
Yeah, FTL is great.
I love FTL.
No.
Yeah, it's FTL is one of those games you can just kind of just sit down and play whenever, and it's just like
and lose.
I got my spaceship.
Yeah, and then you lose, and then you're like, damn it, because there's just nothing you can do.
Actually, I thought Into the Breach was from a design standpoint, I thought it was better than FTL. I
didn't like it as much, honestly.
Really, I thought it was really well done, just because there was always an optimal play, and it was up to you to find it, and sometimes it could be really tricky to find it. Like it was, I really enjoyed Into the Breach.
It probably had more to do with the fact that I just didn't like the theme as much. Yeah, the FTL theme was just like, it was just so good, like watching a guy running over. Come on, put the fire out, get over there, damn it.
Yeah, it did have that sense of panic where you're like, oh shit, there's a hole in my ship.
Yeah, and then any of those roguelite games, it's just like you'll have like 7, 8, 9 games in a row that are just crap. Like you can never get anything, and then you have that one perfect run where and you don't even win either. Like you almost win, and you're just like, oh, that was a good run. That was
Yeah,
actually really
it's,
really awesome.
Like
And that fuels you for the next 6 or 7, of shit runs.
yeah, yeah.
Really
That's actually how I feel playing Monster Train. Is that like, and I'm Scott. I don't know if you've gotten through to the Crucible levels yet, or the whatever it is.
I've only played a handful of games.
Yeah, it's so I will say a really good thing they did with it is that as you level up the factions, they unlock different cards that do a really good job of expanding out the game.
Yeah,
like
okay.
they don't.
I figured there was some grinding to be had.
Yeah, like they won't make it easier per se, but they will definitely give you more options that you can use to help get to the end. So.
All right, are we jackboxing it or what? What's going on?
I'm trying to.
Do I have to make you? I think I have to make you.
Oh, I can share it. No, I can share it.
You can share. Okay.
For some reason, okay, you have disabled participant screen sharing, so you need to allow me to.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get Van in. I wasn't paying. I complained that he wasn't around, so hold on. I got to give him the code.
You have to give me permission at some point too.
You shut your mouth.
Good night.
Oh,
Hi, Chris's family.
this new Kemet,
Children's.
this new Kemet coming out, is that a reprint or is it like a?
It's a reimagining of it.
What the hell is that?
Understanding. It's just like they've theoretically like gone in to like remove some of the whatever. I don't know. The fact that they're adding Cthulhu is just kind of like, I mean, they're adding Cthulhu from the money, obviously.
Is it co-op?
Kemet? No, it's just Cthulhu's gonna be another god that's in the game.
Oh, okay, I thought it might be a co-op mode. That'd be cool.
I mean, I like Kemet.
So do
It's
I.
good. That's a good game, and you heard that here from me because I think it's good. But it is. What are they at right now? $540,000.
Seems all right.
One day.
One day.
Do a Cthulhu game. Oh, you've done one.
I've done one. Did not get to
Did one.
$540,000.
Yeah, but you did a weird one.
I did do a weird one.
It is-
But all
it
my-
is-
I remember
But
having a discussion
I'm
with
excited
somebody.
to try it actually.
Thank you.
I remember having a discussion with
I
somebody.
actually really enjoy it.
No, I remember having a discussion with somebody who said that, oh, it's like here's this game, and I said to them, this is cool. This like create your like your cool thing that fights other things. But I was like, you realize that if you made this like Cthulhu themed or something, and you would like create demons that would fight demons and stuff like that, and you got to add things, people would probably be more excited than this one. And he's like, yeah, I just don't want to make a Cthulhu game. I'm like, all right, well, I tried to tell you, but I mean,
Aldi, you finally got your copy, right? Because you felt that you're okay. Good.
Yeah, I'm behind on everything. Plus, I moved,
Oh, nice.
but I
I
think
can imagine you must
I think
have
it
a
got
ton of
delivered
board
to the
games.
old house, and I got it. I grabbed it.
Oh, nice. Dynamite.
Can't remember. I still can't share my screen there, Lance.
yeah, it's because I got to make you a host. Hold on.
Enable screen sharing for
Didn't we just
participants.
ask that like 5 minutes ago?
There, you can do
Welcome
it
to
now.
the Alaboom.
I'm the host.
If you had your
Yeah,
promise
just
of
that way
chicken.
now you can do it. It's just it turned off the fact that people could share screens for anybody. It was just so like you couldn't have jackholes like show up. Hey, Van.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey man, how's it going? We're about to play Jackbox.
Yeah, get out your phone. You're gonna play Jackbox.
Screen sharing for
Didn't we just ask that like 5 minutes ago?
You also
Wow,
need to
that's
turn off
great.
your volume.
He's the stream.
Yeah, just that way now you. For the stream, yeah, turn off the stream. It turned off the fact that people could share screens for anybody.
No, I'm enjoying listening to it. It's
Yeah,
like-
I love the sound of my voice. Hey, man.
Hey
We
guys.
know.
Hey.
Oh, I guess that wasn't.
We're about
That was a pretty easy. Yeah, get out your phone. You're gonna play Jackbox.
All right, I'm ready.
Jesus, Van. You also need to turn off your volume. You're driving me crazy, buddy. You need to stop your stream. The stream, yeah, turn off the stream. Turned off the fact that I love the sound of my voice.
Yes. Yes.
What
keep it
is
going.
going on? Oh,
Keep it
I
going.
didn't think that was it.
Remember professionalism.
Yeah, get out your phone. You're gonna play Jackbox.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Man, you also need to turn off your volume. Buddy, you need to stop.
This can hold 16 players.
Wait, is that?
What is going on?
Remember, professionalism.
Is that me?
All right. Just mute the stream, man. For the love of all that is holy.
Don't cross the streams.
Oh, boy.
Okay, there we go.
You sure?
Are you sure?
Hey, was it everybody?
What is this bracketeering?
Did everybody get in?
Yeah, I can't hear it.
I
Though.
don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Hold on.
I don't know if I got in or not.
And your votes will determine which answers.
Hey, this is only my second Zoom, so give me a break.
Bracketeering.
Right now?
There we go.
I'm seeing the topic of our first bracketeer devices now.
Turn it down.
Awesomest thing for a fortune teller to see in a crystal ball when gazing into your future. Enter your answers now. Type in the answer you think has the best chance of winning and hit send. If your answer wins the entire bracket, you'll be rolling in moolah. By the way, you can join the audience and play along by going to jackbox.tv and entering the room code.
Is it too loud still?
No.
Wow. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Oh,
Your answers are being paired off into one-on-one matchups. That means it's time to sidle up to the prediction table. On your device, you'll see one of the upcoming matchups for this bracket. If you can predict the answer that will get the most votes, you could win some sizable bonus bucks. Oh, and don't forget, if you don't think your own answer has a chance of victory, you can still grab some cash by predicting the correct winner.
Hey, cab. Or I should say kabuki.
Time's running out.
Time's running out, kabuki.
I put on the audience timers.
Time's up at the prediction table. It's time to dive into our first bracket. Never thought I'd see this matchup. Use your device to vote on which you think deserves to win. But don't forget, if you change your mind, you can change your vote. Just running out the clock now. That kind of domination is illegal in some states. What an upset. No one saw this one coming. Next up, potential winner starts to emerge.
God, I hate you all.
It's really going back and forth.
I'm guessing you didn't write Lance's chicken.
This one seems like it's over before it's done. That win was so big you could hear it the next state over.
I'm kind of amazed it matched both of those together.
Shame for any prediction winners.
I'm glad my anger is
Let's see
is
what's
worthy.
happening over on the other side of the bracket. I can't believe I'm seeing this. The lead keeps changing hands. Who'll come out on top?
Or what?
Whoa, too close to call. Show your support for your answer by tapping on your device as fast as you can. That tie went bye-bye. Finally, we can go on with our lives. And now our last two contenders face off. A clear frontrunner. No one thought it would be this close.
Crowd pleaser right
This one's looking over. Dominating win. Before we get on to round 2, it's time to make another prediction. You've got a new matchup waiting for you on your device. Predict the one you think is going to win. The predictions are in.
Confused as to what the.
Let's jump back to our bracket for round 2. Two Titans squaring off. I am on the edge of my seat. This one's going down to the wire. Looks like we're heading to overtime on this one. Tap on your device as fast as you can to cheer for your answer. The tie is broken. Oh, how I hate ambiguity.
I almost broke my mouse doing that.
This could be the answer to beat, but let's check out the competition. This matchup was bound to happen. The struggle is real. It's a nail biter. Moving into overtime. Show your support for your answer by tapping on your device as fast as you can. The tie has been broken. I'm going to miss the tie times. And now the final face-off. What is the awesomest thing for a fortune teller to see in your future? A real tug of war. Only a few seconds left to vote. We have our first winner.
I think that one was foreordained.
The best part is you can't see my name. It's a chicken.
Let's see how the scores shook out.
Bunch of garbage. Stupid co-opting my story.
It's time for the blind bracket. We start with just the category. Name any mythological person or creature. Go ahead and write the first thing that comes to mind. We'll see the real bracket title after you answer.
Dan didn't get in. That's okay. He can get in next one.
Let's see what this bracket is really about. Coolest name for a sports car. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to afford any of these. Time to get in those predictions.
What a trick.
The predictions are in. Up first. Oh, it doesn't get more contentious than this. An upset in the making.
This guy's voice is annoying.
This one seems like it's over before it's done. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
More douchey and less smuggy.
Moving on to our next matchup.
Apollo and Aphrodite.
See if they're mythological.
The struggle is real. Get those last second votes in now.
There's no humor in it?
That battle gave me whiplash. Let's see what tensions are mounting over in the Eastern Conference. It's a bracket like this that truly makes this game the sport of kings.
You're a mythological person or creature.
The lead keeps changing hands. It's anyone's game. The human heart is a fickle beast.
You guys are a tough crowd.
Ridiculous.
It's time to round out the bracket with this vicious matchup.
Okay, that one was good for the previous one.
Mythological creature.
A real tug of war. An epic showdown.
In the original category, I think that one had a solid chance.
Shake and bake. Looks like this one was obvious. Before we get on to round two, it's time to make another prediction.
Yay.
I love prediction.
I don't like this one.
The predictions are in. Let's jump back to our bracket for round two.
There's another one like this, but it's faster. It doesn't. It just does it once, I think.
No one thought it would be this close. The clock is running out on voting time. Excuse me, do you have any idea how fast you were winning?
Wow.
We're just one match away from our finals. Only one can come out on top. It's really going back and forth. Just running out the clock now. A regular juggernaut. Money if you guessed it. And now the definitive matchup. What is the coolest name for a sports car? I am on the edge of my seat.
Oh, good. We get to hammer on our phone.
Single vote.
Oh, we don't get to hammer on our phone.
Arn.
Let's check out that scoreboard.
I was clever.
The bracket you've all been waiting for, the triple blind bracket. This bracket will change every single round. Here's your starting category. Name any vegetable. Who knows what crazy twists and turns this bracket will take?
What if somebody enters the same thing?
Oh.
It'll do two the same against each other. Pretty sure. And I don't think it'll bracket them together though.
Time's running out.
Put together a chicken and Lance's chicken with Chris and Brett.
Let's see what we're dealing with. Coolest vegetable to name your biker gang after. Time to get in those predictions. All cash is doubled this round, so make these choices count. The predictions are in. Time to get it on. A clear favorite.
Dude, they're trying. Somebody's trying too hard.
Will we see a final push? Oh, the big truck goes vroom, vroom. Our next matchup. This is one for the ages.
I like the spelling.
What are you, 4?
It's really going back and forth. This one's looking over. That wasn't even close. Let's see what tensions are mounting over in the Omega Conference.
Another person.
It's over before it's done. Ran away with that one.
Why doesn't it just lock in your answer?
No surprises on the prediction front. And now our last two contenders face off. Some early votes.
Corn is a fruit.
No, corn is a grain.
Corn is
I had a fruit guy tell me that corn is a fruit.
You
race at one time.
denied.
How did corn win that?
Because everybody loves corn.
We're changing that bracket title again. The best vegetable to stuff in your pants and pretend are genitals. Get those predictions in now.
Where's my cucumber now?
The predictions are in. Let's jump back to our bracket for round 2.
Parsnip shaped like a butt should have made it for this one.
The lead keeps changing hands.
A lot of people haven't seen what it comes from.
You're in the home stretch. Growl.
Good.
One more match to determine our finals. There is no love lost between these two.
No love lost between me and this game.
It really is kind of like
Upset in the making.
I'm glad there's 9 people voting. 'Cause then there's no more counts.
this might be a photo finish. That could have gone either way.
I don't think I've gotten a single one of these.
One last switch.
Well, I mean, and this one is like according to game theory, you
Syrup
want the
If your answer is
if
still
it isn't
makes
yours,
sense.
you want it to be 50-50.
The definitive matchup.
Yeah.
This one's looking over already. No one thought it would be this close. Just running out the clock now.
Going back and forth constantly.
Winner.
I don't know that they thought that design decision through very well.
Let's see who won it all.
A chicken. A chicken what?
Is that you, Connor?
Yeah.
I think the spelling helped you.
Get rid of the Q, the U, the K.
Yeah. Can we play a fun one instead?
I thought you said this was fun. You changed your mind halfway through.
No, I said this was this. I said I didn't like this. Was my exact words.
I heard I like this.
Just go to the murder one. We like the murder one. Murder Hotel. And now Van can get in.
Yeah, now kind of.
Oh, he wasn't in that game?
I'm still learning how this works.
Where'd it go?
So will this be a new code?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What pack is it in?
I assure you, I don't know.
Oh, there it is. 6. See how many times I have to run it before it actually runs.
Listening to opera in the background.
Love it.
It's the intro.
Not joke boat. Yes, trivia. No, trivia murder party.
Joke vote. What is it?
No,
Sounds like he wanted joke boat to sound like, right?
I heard joke. Too.
no.
I heard joke boat. Joke boat, right?
Let's do joke boat. I'm in. All
Why would
votes
you
for
do
joke
this?
boat?
I've never been nothing but nice.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Never been nothing but nice.
Oh boy.
Okay. It saved my settings from last time.
Yay, I'm the fish. Yay, I'm the fish.
I'm Patrick.
No way. It made me a chicken. I shit you not.
Where's the
That's
cool?
cool.
Right, I'm in.
What are the chances?
Oh,
Did, you
there
not,
it is.
did you not enter that as your name?
No, it didn't
you
give me a
just
chance. or
You just
anything.
blanked it.
Oh, I remember because I'm playing on my desktop instead of my phone.
Van, are you in? Yeah, Van was
Yeah,
in.
I'm up in.
Who are we waiting on? Is anybody
Yeah,
else?
just
in
wait on
the-
2 more. Well, there's some people
It's-
playing.
Hold on,
There's got to
I'm
be
having
some.
issues here.
It does add to the horror vibe with the music kind of like growing and then decreasing in volume.
We got room for one more.
One more person. Come on, Chad.
I'm gonna
Right,
give
we gotta
10
wait,
seconds for another person.
Well, isn't it on like a 15-20 second delay?
No, we've been sitting here for a while here. All right, there we go. Paul Tompkins. Everybody hates him. Little lemon.
I remember him.
Polly T, whose wife hate drafts my tiles for no other reason other than to make me mad.
Abandoned buildings
We're on a
history,
30-second
known
delay.
simply as the murder.
I wonder if there's any way to fix that.
Welcome to Trivia Murder Party 2, but you're supposed to
Here we go.
You don't need me to explain anything to you. So, first question. Botanically, which of these are berries? Use your device to answer the question. That means the audience, too.
No Googling.
And the correct answer is... Who got the question right?
Well, shit.
The rest of you, time for consequences.
Doesn't sound good.
You have 45 seconds to escape this room or you die. This is pretty stressful, right? All you need to do is pause and take a deep breath. And when you resume, I know you'll have it all figured out.
Do you guys remember this one?
No, I don't. We couldn't figure it out last time either.
Maybe you have to pause the game and then resume.
Uh-oh, is the answer coming to you yet?
I feel like restarting or refreshing my phone will just kick me out of the game.
It does. I tried that.
You were so gonna be like, duh, when you figure it out. Aw, was that too abstract for you? Let's be more concrete.
Yeah, that's garbage. I
Nobody
hate that
figured
one.
that one out.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what that game is.
I probably
Got
should
it
have set
twice
this
now.
whole game up on the first floor now that I think about it. Well, you live and you learn.
Great suggestion, Lance.
Shut up, Chris.
Let's keep
Punt.
moving.
Go kick a football.
The boat one's looking good right now, ain't it?
These belong to?
You just gotta hope for Aldi and Kabuki to die. That's all.
Yeah, but it'll still go at least like 5 or 6 scores.
Time's almost up. Who picked this?
And I knew I should have gone with my gut.
Only a ghost got it wrong. Well, that sucks. Let's try another one. What type of bridge is the current London Bridge?
What is that?
Get it wrong. Get it wrong.
Who picked this?
Haha, Kabuki.
One of you is still alive. Come with me. Bonjour! Welcome back to the killing room. Math! It's back, baby! Do as much math as you can before time runs out.
That one.
Everyone else will be playing along. If one of them does better than you, it's punishment time.
Okay, that's
Let's go! I had an uncle that was a math teacher. No, sorry. I had an uncle that ate a math teacher. Only a couple seconds of math left. Looks like you brought a knife to a math fight, which is bad.
What a shame. Spooky. What a shame.
Don't taunt too much. Probably still win.
Oof, look at that audience. Not doing great. Do better.
Oh, Kabuki's blaming the phone. She's like, I think my phone is slow and
Let's keep moving.
I swear it didn't count my
I
last
don't
name.
get it.
Should have had 19.
What does the Babadook have that I don't?
Have we ever even seen this person?
I don't know what Babadook is.
That's a good movie. I like Babadook.
I don't know what it is either.
It was an internet meme for a while. I have no idea.
Who picked this?
I'm dead.
What a shame.
I want to show you something. Hopefully you can defend yourself from ESP. Type in an answer that fits this category. Everyone else will answer too. And if anyone matches you, you die. Get to writing.
Couldn't you just put in a bullshit answer?
It probably checks them, right?
I
mean, how does someone not match me with this? Totally.
Tomato.
Couldn't you just put in there like Gorgle frag? You know, just like...
No.
That fish you have. Lance.
Mushrooms.
Now, let's see if there are any matches.
Yep.
If you get your mind read.
I like the record to show I picked
Good
celery
chicken.
as well, but he typed it in first, so I couldn't.
I
didn't
picked
get
celery too.
Oh well, I don't even know what's in it. I know tomato and celery. That's it.
Oh crap! You all died too early. Bummer.
I figured if someone picked celery, then
Go back in time? That's crazy. Try to stay alive a little longer this time, huh? It's time for the next question. What has 3 hearts?
Still alive.
Because you died too quick, so they brought you back. Cheaters.
I'm gonna get this wrong.
Time's running out. Who picked this? It's time.
What a shame.
I hope you're good with instructions. Follow as many rules as you can before time runs out. Everyone else is playing too.
Oh, I'm good at this one.
If I correctly follow more rules than you, I will kill you. Go! There's not a lot for me to do during this game. Well, I guess I'll update my LinkedIn account. Rule time is coming to an end. What the heck?
Who got me?
I did.
Oh.
He tied.
Tied.
Bunch of garbage is what that is.
Garbage. Oh, everybody picked celery. Everybody.
Here. The final round is close. Next question. Which of these coffee drinks doesn't necessarily contain milk?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
my wife would know this. She's a barista.
I don't know what that room number is, Chad. 435?
Oh, and then I realized, I think I know what the answer is after.
Yes.
Oh, I guessed right.
What was your second
Well,
guess?
didn't want that to happen.
The wrong one.
Let's try another one. I don't know why I'm revealing this information, but I have a devastating shellfish allergy. Which of these foods will not kill me?
It's oyster, Aldi. Pick oyster. Oyster's lips.
Abalone is a board game.
This.
Oh.
Everyone again?
Good one,
You're
Connor.
total
Well
loser.
done.
What'd you pick, Connor? Abalone?
Yeah.
Let's do a spooky handwriting test. Oh, hey, look! The ghost of my Aunt Mildred is writing on this mirror. She has her own consistent handwriting. Now, Aunt Mildred is going to write a different word. But so will all the safe players. Draw a word on the mirror, and maybe you'll trick someone into thinking it's Aunt Mildred's. Go ahead and start writing. Pay attention to the words as they appear, and try to spot my auntie. So many convincing words to choose from. Now, type the word that Aunt Mildred wrote, or you die.
Why am I in this room? I got it
Would
right.
the real Aunt Mildred please stand up?
This was my second guess.
Oh, that's a weird mistake.
Who got it?
It's time for you to join my Aunt Mildred.
You just immortal? Because like this is the fourth time you've died.
I don't know why I'm in the room because I basically got that tilapia correct.
Because it was you lasted long enough. It was like you reached the end of the hallway, you die anyway.
But it would have left me
One of you
alive.
back. It's kind of arbitrary, but you had the most money. Anywho, the time has come.
I can feel it. Everything's gonna come up Lance this time.
Ian Nerfenstein.
Congrats on making it here alive. But can you escape?
See you, Nerfenstein.
Here's your
Everything's coming up Lance.
category. It's the category.
Son of a bitch.
That's amazing.
It's so great.
Let's see the right answers.
God dang it.
Are you kidding me?
My time was running out.
Career cards in the modern edition of the Game of Life. Time is almost up. I don't know if you can outrun those ghosts. States with panhandles. Fellowship members in Fellowship of the Ring.
Who go Rune?
You go.
Shush.
You go weaving.
Let's just call that a fluke. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. It's only darkness. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Time is almost up. The exit is so close. Vitamins. I'm going too easy on you.
Bam.
One last trap. If you want to break through that barrier, you'll need a perfect answer to this question. And that includes the third answer choice now, too.
What a shame.
You have to get all the right answers to escape. The darkness approaches. Old Testament books.
No.
Nope, not enough.
What is Two Kings?
Akira Kurosawa films. Time is almost up.
I hate you so much.
Yeah.
Did you get all those right, Lance?
Yes. Oh. I was like, just get this wrong. Come on, just.
Yeah. That was my category. That's the second time I've won. Are we rebooting? Rebooting?
Nice.
Sequel, same people.
I got time for one more.
Done.
Wait, aren't you on the West Coast?
Yeah, but my wife.
I know.
wants to
Two
stay in the
Two
bedroom.
Kings is not a book
Ah,
in the Bible.
Oh, you're back. Good timing. I just finished digging more graves in the cellar.
It's called
Two
One
Kings
and
is.
I know.
It's Kings
Yeah.
1 and Kings 2.
Yeah, Kings 1 and Kings 2.
That's why I thought it was a trick
Question.
question.
But they reference it as Second
Additionally, which of
Kings.
these
You know.
drinks contain alcohol? Use your device to answer the question.
I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah, me too.
We won't disagree.
Shut up.
Almost out of time. And the correct answer is...
Yep.
I didn't get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
I was wrong, and I was like, let me take that back. Let me take it back.
You.
I knew what it couldn't be. That's still left one other book.
Thought Arnold book used it up.
Welcome to room 113. The hairdryer's broken, sorry. Ah, the scariest thing of all. Talking on the phone. I'm giving each of you a telephone, but I only have 5 phone numbers. Dial one of these numbers on your rotary phone before anyone else, or you die. Oh, the utter inconvenience of it all is just
I haven't
so
seen this one
delicious.
this is not good to do on a desktop. I'm gonna die.
We're almost done.
No, that's not even the number I pushed in. Oh, come on.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm out. Suck it.
All the numbers get locked out.
Suck it. It said
No.
dial it before somebody else does.
Come on. Come on, mouse. Come on.
Oh, you got it.
Time's almost up.
Oh, Vano.
That is totally useless in a modern world.
It's been a while since I used the
Too bad. There, Van.
That's a win.
Let's keep moving.
Yes, let's.
What is Rihanna's last name?
I have no clue.
I do
None.
not remember it. Yep, it turned June, Chad.
Who picked this?
Oh, who's
Nice.
who's the lame-o
The rest
to
of
do
you
that
are
one?
so alive.
That was it.
Come with me
You and your
Unqualified.
popular music.
to the killing room.
Well, Mathers is Slim Shady. Knowles is Beyonce.
I'm giving you all scratch
Or
tickets.
a
What a
makeup
quirky
brand.
last-minute gift. Just scratch and find $3 and you get to
This one's
live.
Great. I'll probably lose on the first scratch.
But if you scratch off even one skull, you die. Scratch away. Oh yeah, and if you keep scratching, I'll give you cash for extra $signs you find.
No, I'm out.
Worst that could happen.
I'm happy with what I got.
Shame,
Kabuki.
Kabuki. I feel so bad.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
bro.
Alan. Look at me and Scott. We're just like, we're done.
We're done. I've known this game too well.
I'm okay. I'm okay with just
If
being
you have
alive.
a losing ticket, come with me. When I was a kid, this hotel seemed so big, and murder seemed so wrong. It's funny how things change when you get older. Let's try another one. How would a floating corpse in the Atlantic Ocean get to the Great Lakes? Time's almost up. Who picked this?
Damn it.
Son of a bitch.
Throw that cane
Time
in
for consequences. Let's
Oh, I
roll
hate this
them
one.
bones. Roll as much as you want to add to your score. I'll kill the player with the lowest score. But go over 21 and you die instead. And don't forget, if they roll a skull, that adds 1 to everyone's score. This is a game for people who like blackjack but hate using cards.
Oh. I'm dead.
We just keep rolling?
It's your last chance to sneak a few extra.
Don't go over. Yeah, I knew I was gonna.
Oh, what a shame.
Busted.
Very last second, 2 skulls
One of the
pop
most
up.
common dangers of dice is blowing up.
It's too bad, Scott. It's really bad.
We're here. When one player is left
Never won
alive,
this game.
we'll
I
go
gotta
to the
win
final
one.
round. Next
You've won this
question.
game plenty.
I haven't won this game
What's
yet.
been on the cover of Vogue the most times?
Just throwing darts. My guess is here.
Same here. I mean, I'm making an educated guess.
Time's running out. Who picked this?
Me.
That wasn't even in the 2 people I was
Nobody.
considering.
Everyone is wrong. I want to show you something.
So it is down to me. It is down to you.
It's my old favorite
Oh,
chalice
Oh,
game.
you're so
Oh,
lucky
I
with this
hate
one,
this.
Lance. You're so
Pick a
lucky at it,
chalice to
though.
drop your poison in. Now it's your turn to play. Pick a chalice to drink from. This poison, like all poison, will kill you, so choose carefully.
Ooh, I heard someone scream.
Slurp, slurp. Now let's see what everyone drank.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. That was mine.
Eat it. Just eat it.
You chose.
Let's keep moving.
Yes, let's get it.
What very serious sport has a position called silly point? Time's almost up. Who picked this?
Nice.
I only got something right.
It's time. I'm going to give you a chance to password protect your life. Enter a real 4-letter word with your device. Make it hard to guess. If your password gets cracked, you die.
Again, why couldn't somebody just put in a bullshit thing?
It has to be a real word.
It is a real word.
Probably have
Come
a.
on.
Like, if I was writing this, I just have it search.
Aw, you didn't make a password.
Ah.
That's okay. I can make one for you. And I'm putting your password in the closed captioning. So if you have it turned on, everyone will see it. Now everyone else will try to crack the password. As a team, guess the password on your device. You get a clue if your guess has a letter in the right spot. If anyone figures out the password before time runs out, I will reward you all.
P's in it.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy about what letters you figured out. Let everyone know.
As a U.
It's blank U blank.
It's UMP. UMP.
It's U. Yeah.
It's not lump. Dump. Got it.
You thought that would be too hard to guess?
That would be some.
He said he picked
I guess ass and then word.
I don't get any
One of
bonus.
us is still alive. You know what that means.
Oh,
Oh man.
oh man.
Glad to see you're the one to make it here alive, but will you be the one to escape? Here's your first category. Film score by John Williams. Tap each answer that fits the category and then press submit. Let's see the right answers. Moons of Jupiter. Next question. McDonald Land characters. Time is almost up.
What?
Ruck is a character.
Play a fish guy.
Because there's a ghost right there. Acronyms.
Really? I didn't know IKEA was an acronym.
Ugh, I gotta get some harder questions.
Have fun putting together your Swedish piece of crap.
I thought it was like an actual.
Mind. Here comes the darkness. Plays by Moliere.
Sound like something of a French person.
You can't outrun that ghost forever.
He's in position to kill.
Palindromes. Time is almost up.
Oh, I messed up.
I hate gimmies.
A lot of lucky guesses.
Oh my god.
Ah, dang it.
Yummy life force.
Ooh. Ooh.
10-letter words.
Again, gimmies. Don't give her a gimme.
Forceful in life force.
Chris.
Get it wrong, Chris. Get it wrong.
Where do you think you're going? You need a perfect answer for your final
No
escape.
pressure. No pressure.
And that includes the third answer choice now, too.
No idea.
Hey, I got it right.
You have to get all the right answers to escape.
That's BS. Kabuki.
That is BS. Kabuki.
Pierce isn't a president. Taft was barely one.
One termers. Wow. That is
Pile.
what a she's like laughing. You know she's laughing.
What a pile. Bunch of garbage. That's all I gotta say about that.
I was doing so well. All right, I gotta head out. Thanks for
Go in.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Chris.
Yeah, me too. It's 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, I'm
My kids will be up early.
we just call it, Lance. Let's just call it.
Hold on. Pause and take a deep breath. Trivia murder. They have to use, so it's like it says, but it's still a unique spin. It says that you have to pause the game and then restart it. But I don't even know, how do you pause the game?
You can't pause the game. Only I can.
Right.
That's a game that shouldn't be played. I wonder if I can turn that off.
Weird.
Yeah, so it's like all players must pause the game and use their device to resume the game. This only occurs.
Can't pause the game.
The at-risk will have 45 seconds. Will ask the controller to pause and resume the game due to the fact they're having a cross game killing roll because of one of the at-risk players is the VIP. So it must be something, and I was the VIP, but I was looking at everything on my phone. I couldn't find anything that allowed me to pause it. No idea. Once again, what a pile. What a pile, Kabuki. I'm gonna file this.
Dictating. I turned off the dictation.
I'm going to file this. I'm going to file a complaint with my chicken and my other anger. My rage. Anyway. All right. Well, yeah. I guess thanks for tuning in for the Thursday Nighter, everybody. Van, I mean, how you been, man? I'm sorry you didn't get it earlier, but how you been?
Not too bad. I'm still fighting these kidney stones every once in a while, so it's kind of had me down a little bit.
Yeah, like giving them the right cross and the left jab, or
yeah, they're no fun, man. I hope you're doing all right, hanging in there,
doing as well as we can. You'll have to come in earlier and get started earlier next time. So
definitely. What time do you usually? What time do you get rolling?
9 o'clock Central Time. Hey, Scott, give me back the host.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm taking off. Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was lots of fun.
Hey, go back his game. Go back City Builder Ancient World. Is that colon Ancient World? Does that mean that you might go and like have City Builder Future World later?
That's the third one.
City Builder, hold on. City Builder Modern World.
Winner. See, you could have won that trivia game.
Yeah. I declare that I win the actual trivia game.
You won, Lance. You won.
Yeah, I won that. Take that, Kabuki.
I've made a small trophy for you. It is there.
It's gotta be so satisfying for her to win against you.
I know. You know, she's just like, haha, screw you guys.
Exactly.
So you usually go on at 8 Central?
9 Central, sir. 9
Central. Okay.
10 Eastern.
Right.
All right, so go back the ancient world. It really, I mean, and I'm not saying it's just because he's here. It's a really good game, or it was here. It is a really clever tile laying game, and I'm not usually a tile laying game guy. So,
and it's City Builder.
Yeah, it's called City Builder Ancient World. It's
Cool.
It's got some clever things going on. All right, take care of everybody, and yeah, have a splendid evening.
You too, man.
Yeah.
Scott.
And then if you want to hang out, this is when I stop the live stream, and you can hang out for the secret extra.
Oh, I'll hang out
Post.
Because I do have something to share with Aldi actually.
Oh.